Undecided voters are the biggest idiots on the planet. Try giving short, simple answers.
Like you'll go person, woman, man, camera, TV.
Yosemites.
Because freedom.
For Devil Radio, 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, I'm Luke Mathers with your headlines for Wednesday, November 4th. Totals from Milwaukee, Kenosha, and Green Bay push Biden to a 20,000 vote lead in Wisconsin. Wisconsin once again went down to the wire in the 2020 election, with Democrat Joe Biden holding a lead around 20,000 votes with almost all of the unofficial returns in. That is very close to Trump's winning margin in 2016. Biden overtook Trump in the early morning hours when the city of Milwaukee finally reported its roughly 170,000 absentee votes, which were overwhelmingly Democratic. Then, late returns from Green Bay and the city of Kenosha added to his slender lead. The national election is too close to call, coming down to key swing states including Wisconsin. You're listening to Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome to the Dump Trump Hump Day edition of the Devil's Advocates radio show. Dominic, I slept like a baby last night.
All 3 hours worth, Crudy?
Yeah, I slept like a rock for like almost 3 hours. I slept terribly last night, as I suspect most of America, including our audience. Welcome back, buddy.
Hey, Crudy, wow, it seems like I just saw you. Thank you. What a night, what a day, and I'm feeling pretty good today, man, I got to tell you.
At least I didn't make you sleep on a futon.
And I won the rock, paper, scissors for breakfast. So, I mean, and it looks like Joe Biden will be the next president of the United States.
The very exciting news out of the great state of the Wisconsin. Forget what state I live in some days.
Where are we at?
Joe Biden won. Joe Biden won in the margin, about 21,000 votes. And we've got a declaration now. The Wisconsin Elections Commission, and more importantly, the Associated Press. They've called the state of Wisconsin for Joe Biden. And the first thing I hear from these Republicans, recount, recount. So anyways, in the spirit of victory over the man, I've got one little thought for our conservative friends, our Republican listeners, to the recount. I'd just like them to know, I think of them as snowflake, Jill Stein loving, recount begging, hypocritical little bitches.
Oh, come on, man. Your favorite ex-governor, Scott Walker, even tweeted out today something to the effect that, a 20,000 vote margin, pretty big. The last couple of recounts, a couple hundred, 100, not a whole lot. That's probably not going to get her done, according to the former Wisconsin governor.
No, Joe Biden won the great state of Wisconsin. A blue wave, Dominic, just as I predicted.
Well, it ain't over yet, but it's looking pretty good.
It's over.
It's
over in Wisconsin. It's over in nationally.
Wisconsin, certainly.
Time will pass, and then Joe Biden will be anointed president of the United States because the voters chose him through the electoral process.
No, stop the votes. Stop the votes. I mean, Donald Trump's presser last night at 1:30 in the morning, our time, 2:30. I mean, Trump was up, it was talking late to the crowd, his crowd in the White House, telling people stop counting the votes. We need to stop counting the votes. We have some sound of that. We'll get to it. But what a fascist, POS. And we listen because Joe Biden as well. He spoke last night, and we'll play some of that sound. You can determine who sounds like a whiny little bitch and who sounds presidential.
Well, I sound presidential. So, by elimination, what's that make you? Dominic, we've got our pal Maggie Dawn joining us later in the show. And something I took note of, I did turn over to Righty Whitey Talk Radio.
Oh,
not the local guy for a change, but the bloviator in chief, Rush Limbaugh. I want to hear what Rush would say. And I didn't listen to much of the show, but here's what Rush said. Him and Donald Trump are alike in this regard. They don't lose with grace. They're going kicking and screaming. And Right Wing Talk Radio, they've got their mechanisms out there calling for recounts, calling this a fixed election. Hell, Larry Kudlow out there talking about tabulation fraud. I might paraphrase slightly, but that's effectively what he is saying. And I'm telling you, man, they're not going down without a fight. And
even the campaign manager for Donald Trump, specifically referring to the state of Wisconsin, as close as it is, I think 0.6% right now, claiming without any evidence or detail about voting irregularities in their desire to get a recount here in the state of Wisconsin. What are you talking about?
Well, it's under the new statutory threshold because let's not forget, the Republicans changed the statutory thresholds after the Jill Stein recount. So anyways, there will be a recount, I suspect. But Joe Biden has already won the presidency. We just haven't seen the votes tallied. And I said this, Joe Biden already won on the early votes. And Joe Biden will be your next president. And he is already at 270 electoral votes. And here is how I do the math on the radio, Dom. We got Wisconsin, the great state of Wisconsin. We throw in our 10 electoral votes. Oh, there goes my briefcase. Above and beyond Wisconsin, I'm throwing Michigan in the Joe Biden category. And guess what? Then you don't need Pennsylvania. You don't need North Carolina. You don't need Georgia. And Joe Biden wins Nevada. And it's 270. Suck it. That's a blue wave as far as I'm concerned.
Where does Arizona fit into your math?
Yeah, now? Arizona. I mean, hell, Fox News called Arizona for Joe Biden last night.
And the
if Fox
Trump
News
campaign,
is comfortable doing it, I feel comfortable putting them in Joe Biden's column.
Apparently fine with continuing the count in Arizona. Just wants to shut down the counts in some of those other states.
Yes. Little hypocritical, sure. But if you don't intend to be a gracious loser, if you're going to go down kicking and screaming, first and foremost, let me reassure the audience. The math is already done. The early in-person voting. What is it? Wayne County, Detroit, man? They turned them out. And here in the great state of Wisconsin, we turned them out in Madison, in Dane County, Milwaukee, of course. But the big urban centers were the early voting centers, the absentee voting centers. And those were the last votes counted in late in the evening. And I'll grant you, Dom, I had passed out before the Milwaukee votes came in. And then I woke up in a cold sweat this morning. I'm like, give me my phone. And I checked right away. And I knew Joe Biden had won the state of Wisconsin. And as I saw Michigan come in effectively, when Biden took the lead, it's all over America. Joe Biden is your next president.
With regards to Michigan, just saw recently reported on CNN that 20% of Wayne County, where Detroit is, 20% yet to be counted. So a huge Democratic stronghold with still 20% outstanding votes. And again, presumably those are going to be the absentee mail-in ballots, and those are going to be primarily at a greater percentage than normal for Joe Biden. Yeah, I mean, it's all over but the crying.
Well, he's at 270. Joe Biden is your next president. It will, affect the final margin on the scoreboard, whether Joe Biden can come back, because some of the Fulton County, some of the Atlanta vote, didn't get counted in the Georgia totals yet. In Pennsylvania, they also are counting their absentee ballots last. And there are a lot of Philly County, Philadelphia, there are a lot of voters from that area. And I suspect there's going to be some support for Joe Biden coming out of Pennsylvania. So ultimately, it might be a little blue wave here, a little more like a tsunami than it appears on first blush. But I always knew it, Tom. Joe Biden won Wisconsin, more votes than you've ever seen in this state. Joe Biden will receive more votes as a candidate than anyone in our nation's history. And Joe Biden will be your next president.
Reports out of Wisconsin, 71% of voting age adults cast their ballots here in the state of Wisconsin. Drudge Report headline, 21 million more votes to count. 21 million. And a lot of those are in Dem-leaning districts.
So this is effectively a victory
over the
Trump.
man. It's
A
the
victory
over
over
the
Trump.
man party. Yeah.
A dumb Trump victory over the man party. How about that? Can we conglomerate them?
All right, we'll do that. The dumb Trump. Crudy, you got it. You can't retire the t-shirt, man.
I am retiring the t-shirt as soon as we see it. Maybe on Inauguration Day. Maybe I'll wear this underneath if we can get Ron Johnson to give us a couple tickets to this year's inauguration. You know, I'll sit 6 feet away from you, Dom. And you probably won't have the courage to smoke the free joint and get on DuPont Circle again this year.
Oh, what?
You were supposed to smoke that at the inauguration last time.
And what were you doing, Michael?
I was encouraging you.
Yeah.
I was saying,
Yeah,
see those
flip over the
Secret
car.
Service?
Seems like a great idea. Crudy, the dump Trump t-shirt. Oh, we just do a little change, man. I'll just put an ED, dumped, make it past tense, and that shirt will live on for many, many years.
Well, Dominic, I know they still got some votes to count, 21 million perhaps. But I'd like to say mission accomplished.
You're welcome, America.
We defeated Donald Trump. And I know there are still some nervous people. Hell, what was the most Google search term last night?
A liquor store near me.
Yeah.
And it was funny because, you know, of all the states where that was popping up, Wisconsin, not one of them, because we know where our liquor stores are.
And Dominic, when you arrived in town and we stopped in before the late night, the election edition, and really enjoyed that party with you and Luke. Thanks for staying up late, young man. And thank you to our fine sponsors, Teamsters Local 200, and of course, the Wisconsin Democracy Campaign and KTNF 950 AM. Great to have the Minneapolis listeners on board live. That party went on late into the evening, but it was fueled by something I bought for you at my favorite little local liquor store down on the corner. First thing we did when you got to town, we took your ass to a liquor store.
You got to keep me on the even keel, man. It was going to be a long night, and it wasn't just for us. It was for everybody. Thank you, everyone who participated, listening. Thank you all for listening right now. We got a big show ahead. Maggie Dawn going to come by and share her thoughts. Of course, you as well. Give us a call. How you feeling? What do you think? Is the math? Is it all over? Do you agree with the Devil's Advocates? We have made the call. It's official. But what do you think? It ain't over yet.
No, it's over. Joe Biden is your president. He is the champion. By extension, we are the champions. We have dumped Trump. We have had the greatest political party on air ever. And we're going to do it again. We're doing it live. We're doing it right now, and your participation is welcome. 844-967-2789. You know, I knew it all the time. No nervous moments whatsoever. Slept like a baby, like all of you, I'm sure did, after drinking half a bottle of tequila. Come back, more Devils. Dial them up. Let's hear from you, our fair audience.
We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions.
The Lazy Oaf Lounge is Madison's East Side place for friends and family. Whether it's for lunch or dinner, you know you're in for a tasty treat. Awesome apps, burgers, pizza, and the best fish fry in Madison. And join us to cheer on the green and gold with 50-cent wings, beer bucket specials, and free Jell-O shots with every Green Bay touchdown. Plenty of TVs inside or out on the patio. The Lazy Oaf Lounge, 1617 North Stoughton Road, and online at lazyoaflounge.com.
Dave, I heard you had a solution to Russia meddling in our election.
Oh, yeah, Crudy. Community PC is Putin's worst nightmare. Voting machines are just computers, and Community PC's Tech Protect plan keeps computers safe and secure.
How can I learn more and protect my computer?
Well, to keep your computer up to date and secure, go to COMMPC.com to learn more and sign up for Tech Protect today. That's COMMPC.com. Community PC. We know what makes computers happy.
Hey, Dom, how many palindromes can you name in 30 seconds?
Race car, mom, dad, reefer, kayak, level. Did I say mom already?
You're forgetting one really important one.
Zero res.
Not only is it the coolest palindrome ever, it's also our favorite.
Right, I remember. Why is that again?
They advertise with us.
Zero res, my favorite palindrome.
And carpet cleaner.
Get
the best carpet cleaning ever. Schedule your carpet cleaning online at zeroresmedicine.com. Tell them the Devil's Advocate sent you.
Listen to Devil's Advocates live weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m.
Thanks for the job you do. It sure showed in the Supreme Court.
But I just want to thank you guys for your program.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You don't get enough credit for this. We've never had a voice ever in this state. So I think you guys really need to take a bow.
Thanks again for your work. It's really important. You need these guys. They're there for all of us.
You're welcome, everybody, and thank you. From Wisconsin Dells to Dousman, WTTN 1580 AM is essential radio to get you through the pandemic.
I don't know if you know the Devil's Advocates, but they are kind of a big deal.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. What a glorious day. Join us in celebration. 844-967-2789.
Dominic, it was a blue wave, just like I called it. I mean, hell, Joe Biden could end up with 270 electoral college votes or more. But I think he's at 270 right now because Wisconsin, our home state, Wisconsin is in the Joe Biden column. Both the AP and the Wisconsin Elections Commission have called it for Joe Biden. Above and beyond that, Michigan's going into Joe Biden's column as well. And the rest, the Eastern Seaboard, the SEC states, they don't matter, not a hill of beans. I think I heard James Carville last night saying it all comes down to the Big Ten.
I think I heard him say, put your razor blades away. It'll be fine.
The Big Ten brought it home for Joe Biden, state of Wisconsin, the state of Michigan, a monstrosity of a margin here in the state of Wisconsin, 21,000. That's huge.
I mean, it's big for a recount, but
well, that's more than John Kerry.
Big.
That's more than Al Gore. That's a pretty big margin for a Democrat, all things considered. Maybe not Obama style, but you get what I mean.
844-967-2789. What are your thoughts today? Profane Ronnie, you will be first today. Happy day, sister. What do you got for us?
Hey, Ronnie.
Oh, thank God it's over. I've been so sick of this entire political season, both from a letter carrier standpoint with all the mail, from a person watching TV with 1,000 ads, and as somebody who financially supported several candidates across the country. Literally yesterday, as I was working the polls, I was still getting texts from Mark Kelly saying, it's not too late. Donate $15 now. And I'm like, dude, it's too late. Okay. So, I'm so glad that this is over. I am so thankful that Wisconsin went blue. I'm bummed that the Senate is not going our way because that means we're going to have that stupid Moscow Mitch, that turd, and he's going to just block everything Biden wants to do. So I'm really bummed about that, and I am super bummed. I thought that Trump support was like 35, maybe 40% of this country, and it turns out that half the people I know are racists and haters and idiots, and that really bums me out.
And I'm sure many good people on both sides.
Many fine people.
Yeah,
of course.
They are fine people.
Well, Ronnie, I mean, I hate to broad brush, and ultimately, as we've talked about many times, we're still going to have to deal with our neighbors, our friends, our family. These are our fellow countrymen, right? And I don't believe that they're all of them. Certainly a hardcore. There are some hardcore racist, Proud Boy types among the Trump supporters, but there's also a lot of folks that, maybe didn't want to vote for, but he's Republican and Joe Biden and the Democrats and big government and all those kinds of things. So they're not all necessarily racist, Ronnie. They just sometimes support racists.
Some of them are greedy, selfish bastards, Ronnie, because for a tax cut, they would throw the rest of us overboard during a pandemic. They would sell their neighbor down the river for a lack of health insurance in a pre-existing condition, as long as their 401k is doing okay. And Ronnie, I just think it tells us how selfish so many of our neighbors are. Because if they're not racist, then the alternative is they did it for what, a tax cut?
Yeah, and I stand corrected. I shouldn't say that half these people I know are racist. They are selfish. They are looking out for themselves. The whole, I hate wearing a mask and COVID is stupid. I do personally know a lot of people that do think that, it's going to go away now that the election is over. So it's selfishness. And so, I should not broad brush, and I apologize for that. But I do want to say I worked the polls yesterday from open till close, and it was awesome. I felt like I was part of the process, and it ran incredibly smooth, and it was just really good, a really good experience. So I recommend to people that if they can take that day off and work a poll for the next election, they should, because you'll feel like you're part of something.
Ronnie, I appreciate it sincerely, volunteering your time and working the polls. The campaign manager for Donald Trump, when they talked about perhaps starting a recall here in the state of Wisconsin. A recount here in the state of Wisconsin, referred to voting anomalies or irregularities in the process here in Wisconsin. Ronnie, did you see anything out of the ordinary?
No. These things are so well covered. I mean, you couldn't do chicanery. You couldn't do something faulty if you wanted to, because everybody works in twos. And you don't know the political affiliation of the person you're working with, because, nobody's really talking about that. We're just there to help people vote. Right. There were observers there. There were poll workers there. There were election officials there. There's a chief in each section, or a chief in each building, and then an assistant chief. They know all the rules. They have a hotline straight to the county where, they can look up people's information if we don't have it there. This whole irregularity, the absentee ballots, that was a separate crew, and they were working on those. So the little bit that I learned from working this poll, I mean, this is a science, and they follow up on everything. So, he can do a recount, but he'll probably lose by more.
Yeah, I hope he gets the $3.2 million Jill Stein bill as well, right, Ronnie?
Right.
Appreciate your call, sister.
Well, he won't pay that.
I'd rather owe it to you forever than never pay you, Ronnie.
Well, didn't they make Jill Stein come up with the money up front? I mean, you got to make Trump come up with the money up front.
COD, Trump.
Folks, we are the devil's advocates. It was a blue wave, just as we predicted. Joe Biden is your president, or at least he will be by tomorrow when Nevada is put in Biden's column. And your reactions, some of you probably sweating it, drinking too much, doing unsafe, unhealthy things like we all did last night on the radio.
Projection much?
Yeah, come back with us. More devil's advocates, more projection. 844-967-2789. More of your calls as well.
Stay informed with progressive news and talk on WTTN 1580 AM, Wisconsin's home for Devil Radio.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Hi, this is Dom from the Devil's Advocates inviting you to join us on Patreon.com. Patreon allows for our audience to access exclusive programming not available anywhere else and gives you the ability to directly support the greatest radio show ever. History's patrons have supported the works of Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Monet, and now with your support, the Devil's Advocates. So please go to Patreon.com and search the Devil's Advocates to pick your subscription. That's Patreon.com and the Devil's Advocates, the greatest radio show ever.
I'm Ed Donahue with an AP News Minute. It's the day after Election Day, and there is no winner yet in the race for president. Joe Biden got closer to 270 electoral votes with the victory in Wisconsin. The Trump campaign wants a recount. In Michigan, the Trump campaign is going to court to try to stop the vote count there until it is given meaningful access in numerous locations and allowed to review ballots that already have been opened and processed. Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson says this is a long process.
And when we have that first unofficial tabulation, which we hope will come sometime within the next 24 hours, we will then begin the process of finalizing and with additional secure protocols moving towards an official tabulation, which could take even more time.
The AP has called Arizona for Joe Biden, but several key states remain too early to call. Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, and Nevada. As it stands, Biden has 238 electoral votes, President Trump 214. I'm Ed Donahue.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
For Devil Radio, 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, I'm Luke Mathers with your Election Day headlines for Tuesday, November 3rd. Wisconsin's polls opened at 7 a.m. and will close at 8 p.m. If you are in line to vote at 8 p.m., they have to let you vote. President Trump returns to Wisconsin for Election Eve rally in Kenosha, his fifth trip to the state in recent weeks. President Trump's visit to southeastern Wisconsin came as a flood of coronavirus cases continue to hit Wisconsin, and the death toll now exceeds 2,000. Wisconsin mayors keep an eye on safety ahead of Election Day. The U.S. Department of Justice is sending personnel to monitor for compliance with federal voting rights laws in 44 cities across the country, including Milwaukee. Mayor Tom Barrett said Monday afternoon that he had not been told which of the city's 173 polling locations the monitors will be at. Forecast high of 66 degrees, low of 46 degrees. You're listening to Devil Radio.
The Devil's Advocates. Political commentary.
Trump Hump Day edition of the Devil's Advocates radio show. Stayed up way too late, got up way too early. But it was a glorious night overall because Joe Biden won the great state of Wisconsin. I'm feeling pretty damn good about that. You know, I'm going to enjoy toasting with conservative tears, Dom. And now they're going to whine and they're going to demand a recount. But ultimately, the outcome's going to be the same. And Joe Biden, I believe the math dictates Joe Biden's already won the presidency. Joe Biden won Wisconsin, will win Michigan, won Nevada, won Arizona, and that's 270, baby. It's all over, but the conservative crying.
And there'll be plenty of time for that. 844-967-2789. I hope we hear from some conservatives today. Gary, where you been, man?
They do not intend to lose with grace. And I don't intend to win with Grace, so we got that going for us. We'll match him up.
I never expected that you would, Michael. 844-967-2789. Good luck finding some Grace around here. Dan from Madison, you are next. Welcome, sir. What do you got for us?
Hey, Dan.
Hey, guys. I was wondering if you have a man on the street or like a custodian at the Waukesha County Courthouse, making sure there's not like one leftover bag of those votes just waiting to get.
They're all in Kathy Nicholas's garage right now.
Right now.
I'm sorry, say that one more time, Dan. Your phone's going in and out a little bit. Sorry, Dan, you got a bad phone line, buddy. Why don't you try us back? We'll try to give you another crack at it at 844-967-2789. But jumping ahead, we got L.A. Tom. Tom, welcome back, my friend. How you feeling this morning, Tom? Joe Biden, your president in waiting.
All right, guys, we the people are the government, and we must never forget it. And we showed it last night. So congratulations to all the people in Wisconsin. I'll tell you what, we need more progressive radio in the northwestern part and northeastern part of Wisconsin so we can actually start getting some of that red to turn blue. It's on a daily basis, they need to be hearing more progressive radio. But yeah, I don't know if you got my text last night late when Wisconsin first went that way, but very, very happy, and we're going to have Joe Biden as our president. And then we got to get to work to push him to go progressive. And, and the Senate races aren't over yet. So people, keep on talking about these Senate races being kind of over. They're not.
Well, there's at least one runoff in Georgia, right? Loeffler, the WNBA team owner that won't let her players celebrate Black Lives Matters.
Exactly. And then I think you got also did that one go where it was 50% of the vote or not?
No, there's a Ossoff. I don't know. I'm not clear on that. Sorry, man. It got late last night, Tom. It got a little blurry.
Yeah, I know. Me too. And then, but the thing is, that would be the second one, because they would be running that off if it's not 50%. And I think there was one other race that I'm trying to think of. We picked up two, but we lost one.
Well, we lost Doug Jones in Alabama. And we picked up Hickenlooper, which was the former Cory Gardner seat, the Republican in Colorado. That one was a pickup for us.
And Arizona, Mark Kelly.
Oh, no doubt.
So that was also a pickup. But, yeah, I just wanted to say congratulations to everyone in my home state of Wisconsin. And just never forget that we the people are the government. I'm going to keep on saying it until it's, and even though Crudy said I didn't say it last night after I had a couple drinks, I think I forgot my messaging, so I apologize.
Buddy, you've got the best message discipline of any caller we've ever had, Tom. It was so stark that you forgot to say that we the people are the government, in the late night call. First time I think you ever missed it, Tom.
After Mark had that 2 bottles of wine. But yeah, no, we're you know what? We just got to keep on pushing. We got to get some, good messaging, and we just got to start kicking butt and taking names. And yeah, Wisconsin's got to start going completely blue again. That's like it was when I was younger. So congratulations, and congratulations to all of us. And I'll tell you what, it's going to make a big difference, and people need to remember this. It's going to make a big difference having Josh Call as the Attorney General versus the Yahoo that was there before when it comes to the recount as well. So all the elections matter, and we just need to make sure that they're all in the hands of people that are actually honest. And the biggest thing is we must get money out of politics. That is our biggest issue out of all of it. When you look at how much money was spent on this election, and we basically end up with the same exact kind of numbers that we had before.
But the turnout numbers, Tom, to the credit of both candidates, the turnout numbers enormous, buddy. We haven't had a turnout like that in Wisconsin in 20 years.
Absolutely insane. Yeah, it was great. But the thing is, we can't have it where these politicians are being bought even after the elections, and we got to get the money out of politics. I'm all for the fact that, you know, if LeBron James and the NFL and people like that want to promote voting and get out the vote and everything, that's great. We need more of that. But when it comes to these politicians just, you know, listening more to their funders and their donors than they are listening to we the people, then that's a problem in this country. And I hope that that changes, and I hope that there becomes a groundswell. And I hope to hell the people up in northwestern Wisconsin, northeastern Wisconsin, up in the north there, I hope that they start voting in favor of their own best interests rather than constantly voting against their best interest. It really would be nice to see. I think they would find that their lives are a lot better.
Tom, from your lips to God's ears, man, appreciate your call. Quick thought. Ron Johnson appeared upon our show, and we had just met journalist Ken Vogel with Politico, and Politico had sent Ken out to Palm Springs, California, where our buddy Ron Johnson was taking grandiose checks, only it wasn't for the Trump team or even the Ron Johnson campaign. He was directing the funding to the Koch brother network. He was telling them, you know, you can give it tax deductibly, you can give it anonymously. And then we quizzed Ron Johnson about this very incident on the radio, and he got very defensive. Oh, Ken Vogel, blah, 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 blah. But then I got to the heart of the matter, and I asked your buddy Ron Johnson, Ron, is money free speech? Well, yes, Mike, it is. I mean, we have a real difference of attitude here. We, those of us like Tom and myself that believe we the people should have a voice. And of course, the ultra rich that know that they've got a louder voice on every day except election day.
Well, and even if you accept that money is free speech, there is no unfettered free speech. I mean, there's
as loud as I can yell.
You can't yell fire in a crowded theater, right? I mean, speech is and should be regulated. There's hate speech. There's inciting a riot, right? I mean, there's lots of things on how speech
very few
is
regulations
regulated.
on free speech, actually, other than inciting a riot or yelling fire in a crowded theater. Very little regulation on free speech.
Are those not okay? So those very specific examples. The point being, Crudy, in your conversation with Ron Johnson, even if Ron Johnson believes that money is speech, that does not mean that it is exempt from regulation.
Well, the way Ron's telling people to do it by writing the checks to the Koch brothers, to the anonymous donor network, and not only that, but garnering a tax benefit, that's a win-win. Skirt the system and get a tax write-off, man. That's why the rich get richer, because they own the politicians. And guys like you and I, we got to show up and do a radio show every day.
And then on top of that, when they get caught, because the only reason this was supposed to be allowed under Citizens United is because it would be, you know, separate organizations. But now you can coordinate specifically with the campaign and the dark money groups on your messaging. Hell, you can use the same media supplier if you choose to do so. And that is
now,
now
are you
legal
talking
here
about
in the state of
federal
Wisconsin,
law or
in the state of Wisconsin?
Oh, yeah, the uniquely corrupted campaign finance laws here. Scott Walker could tell you all about those.
I'm not clear he could.
Now, here in the state of Wisconsin, Tom, we are very proud that Joe Biden turned this state blue. But it's not equally blue. It's not uniformly blue. There are some areas of the state that did a hell of a lot more lifting than, let's say, other areas of the state. So let's give all the credit where it's due. You're
City of
welcome.
Milwaukee.
On behalf of Dane County and Madison, Wisconsin, we did the heavy lifting on behalf of the Joe Biden campaign.
I would challenge that
plays out
assertion.
statistically.
I challenge that assertion.
Let's do some math on the radio.
We compare apples to apples.
Dominic, let me read from the Madison.com first. As some expected, the Democratic stronghold of Dane County, where Mike Crute broadcasts daily on the radio with his buddy Dominic, managed to hand Biden greater margins, a 5 percentage point increase, and a greater raw vote total than it did for Clinton. Biden ended up getting 260,157 votes from the county. Hillary Clinton got 43,000 less votes from Dane County, 217,000, about 700. So Joe Biden got an additional raw total of 43,000 votes. What was the margin? 21. Dane County doubled the margin of victory just in new voter turnout since Devil Radio 92.7's been on the air. You're welcome. And Milwaukee County, no slouchers. They had 83% turnout. And they are to be commended.
Closer to 84%, but yes, continue.
Okay, 83 to 84% commendable turnout, no doubt. City of Milwaukee.
No.
County of Milwaukee.
Because the city of Milwaukee is where I believe the statistics are going to show that they overperformed.
Okay, well, 83% turnout, nothing to turn one's nose up at. But the former vote total for Hillary Clinton in 16, 444,000 votes. And the vote total for Joe Biden, 460,300 votes. Tom, to my simple on the radio math, that's about a 16,000 vote differential. So Dane County tripled your ass.
On a county for county basis,
increase.
I do agree with that math. And unfortunately, what I do not have, and I have not been able to calculate yet, is to look at the city of Milwaukee, because there are, obviously non-democratic parts of Milwaukee County. And Milwaukee County, hell, the city of Milwaukee had, I believe, 250,000 in-person votes.
Come on, man, I wasn't even playing the Madison turnouts or the Middleton turnouts. I was playing Dane County. County.
No, I get it.
Mix of rural and metro. We're not uniform. Milwaukee City turnout. It's out there.
The data is out there. But I would suggest, and I don't know this for a fact yet, but county to county, Curdy, I think you're right. The math is what the math is. Hard to challenge that. But looking at the city of Milwaukee, because there's been a lot of speculation about what happened last time and the voters in the city of Milwaukee and the black turnout, et cetera, here in Milwaukee. I'm not clear that they did not, as a city, rise up and help as much, or perhaps not as much as the city of Madison, but obviously a lot of folks here very motivated to get out. So we'll research that number. We'll look for that data, and you can join us as well, 844-967-2789. Jean from Eau Claire, you are next. Welcome. What do you got for us today?
Hey, Jeannie.
Hi, guys. I think you both did a great job, and both of your areas did an outstanding job.
Yeah, but Madison and Crudy just a little better, right, Jeannie?
Hey, Jeannie, come on. Eau Claire did okay.
Yeah, Eau Claire did great, but then all of the areas, and I'm a surrounding area, we need some Devil's Advocate radio broadcasting in our area and up north of us, and the people would get educated. There's been so much honest to goodness brainwashing. I swear that the people in our area, up north, and I'm, in the rural part, have been brainwashed, because all you can get is the fake evangelical type propaganda all day long. And we get Rush, and we get all those guys nonstop. And even the so-called religious type people going on and on about the liberals.
Got to cut you short, Jeannie. God bless you. And today, God bless Joe Biden. He won the state of Wisconsin on to 270 in victory nationwide. More Devils. We'll be right back.
This is Tony with Quality CBD. We are located on Willie Street across from the co-op. At Quality CBD, we are vertically integrated. From soil to oil and seed to sale, we grow, extract, manufacture, and distribute quality CBD oil. We also have contact-free delivery options at qualitycbd.org. Quality CBD. Legal, local, legit.
At Chad's Design Build, we have always been uncompromising about creating a safe and healthy home during your renovation and after. As we pause to allow our community to confront this crisis, we remain vigilant and determined to find a safe way to resume the essential work of maintaining and improving homes in our community. With love for each other, we'll find a way to carry on. We wish you all good health, strength, and wisdom. On behalf of the entire team at Chad's Design Build, this is Chad Spade.
Stream the Devils and progressive news and talk 24/7 at the Devil's Advocates Radio Network, Wisconsin. That's DARNWI.com. That's DARNWI.com.
Madison, you say what? Each weeknight from 5 to 6 and Saturdays noon to 2, don't miss out on a single day of the Earl Ingram Show right here on Devil Radio 92.7 FM, 1580 AM.
Senator Ron Johnson talking about staying out of bars. How does that pair with your thought that schools should reopen in the fall? You got a room full of school students or a room full of bar patrons. What's the difference?
Because schools, students, it's rare, very rare to have them have a very serious medical effect from COVID.
Listen to the Devil's Advocates live weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m.
You shouldn't have older school teachers or school teachers with some of the comorbidities.
That could be. It might be. It is. Devil Radio 92.7.
I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for those meddling devil's advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Phone lines are open toll free at 844-967-2789.
Oh, yeah, Dominic, I got one more thing to rub in your Milwaukeean face.
All right, what do you got, man?
A statement from the mayor of Madison, Wisconsin, the greatest hometown ever, today. Madisonians cast 161,836 ballots in yesterday's historic 2020 election, an all-time record, which represents 84.7% of registered voters. That's bigger than 83 something. Just saying.
Wait, but that's you're comparing county numbers to city numbers. The city of Milwaukee cast 169,519 absentee, had 78,000 show up for a total of 247,000 votes in the city of Milwaukee.
Out of how many voters? What is the percentage of
that,
registered voters?
I don't
One
know
more
that.
Google, man.
Come
Dig
on,
in.
man. I'm
You
just
can do
throwing it
it.
out there.
Madison did better. I'm sorry. Dane County, we crushed it. Joe Biden, you're welcome. And Milwaukee, pretty
You're
good.
so good finding your
Attaboy.
Madison numbers, man. Why don't you find those Milwaukee
Come
numbers?
on, man. Do I got to
yes, you do.
chew up the food and feed you baby bird? It's worth a Google. So I was feeling pretty good. My city helped carry the electoral map for the state of Wisconsin.
Such an
and
ass.
thusly, Joe Biden will be your next president. Madison, we saved democracy. I mean, democracy was in doubt, at least for a couple hours last night. It was really starting to
no
have
doubt.
shadows of 2016. And I was expecting bigger numbers. And I mean, they were enormous numbers for Joe Biden, but they were also enormous numbers for Donald Trump. I didn't think Donald Trump could find that many more deplorables out there in the world to support his candidacy. That was think about it this way. Donald Trump was right. The polling was all wrong. And from his perspective, if you were truly Donald Trump, and I'm not trying to defend the guy, but you see poll after poll after poll. What was the Washington Post ABC News poll in Wisconsin like last week? 17. Charles Franklin, he was at 5, but the margin of error was like 4, right? So at least Charles, he can claim, well, I was nearly within the margin of error. But some of these pollsters, man, how can you explain once again all the pollsters getting it so wrong? And is that the underperformance of Joe Biden? Because like I said, he turned out historical turnout. The Dems turned out theirs, especially Madison, Wisconsin. But all across the country, the Dems turned out theirs. But there were so many more Trump-publicans that I could have possibly imagined. I didn't see Trump, increasing his numbers like he did. I didn't see that one coming.
Crudy did check out city.milwaukee.gov, the election commission for the 2016. Going city by city.
Well, you're going to trust the city of Milwaukee.gov?
Voters, 328,000 in 2016, 247,000 cast. Doesn't matter what the numbers are, Crudy. At the time in 2016, that was over a 75% participation rate. But we have the same number of votes cast here in Milwaukee. Again, 247,000, literally almost the same exact number of votes cast this time from the city as last time.
And across the county, only an increase of 15,000. Now, those 15,000, obviously, when your margin of error is only 21,000, thank God for Dane County. But, I mean, really, realistically, did Milwaukee do its part? Was the 15,000, although quite important, shouldn't it have been 25 or 30,000 more votes? Relative to the...
Yeah, if they went from a 75% participation rate to an 85% participation rate, maybe it would have been there, but it was essentially the same as 2016.
Yeah, but consider back to 2008 and 2012. Those are the numbers you should be looking at, the historic prior high turnout numbers for Obama. I would question, how did Joe Biden do in regards to his former boss? And if he met or exceeded those numbers, then Milwaukee, absolutely. Then they did their job. But if there is a decline, he might have surpassed Hillary Clinton, but Hillary Clinton only turned out 47% of African Americans statewide. Statewide. Last night's rum starting to play dirty tricks on me. I got hiccups.
All right, man. We're going to break soon. I think I give the guy give him a hurt, give him a burp, give him a hug.
You know, I would have brought antacids. I should have known better.
I think you were eating them like candy last night, dude.
I were two at a time. That's how my tummy was feeling last night, and apparently a little.
Diet Mountain Dew and rum. I would just suggest some filtered water occasionally might be a great idea for you.
Even pistachios were kicking my ass last night, man. I couldn't eat or consume anything. Water was burning. It tastes like burning. But now it all tastes like glorious victory. Even that hiccup, that rum from last night, it all tastes like victory now. But I would wonder, around the state, I mean, no doubt, Madison, Dane County did their part. And I would just wonder, historically speaking, and we'll have to dive in further, and maybe not today, to get in all the weeds and minutia, because absolutely a glorious victory for the entire state of Wisconsin. But did the Dems perform as well as the polling said? Certainly not. And does that mean the polling was all wrong once again? Or is this an underperformance by the Democratic Party and Joe Biden? Should it have been this close, Tom? That's my question, sir.
For 2012, again, of registered voters of 330,000, total votes cast 288,000.
How many this year? 267?
This was in 2012. So they had an 87% voter turnout in 2012.
And this year, city. I'm sorry, it was.
And this year it was like 70 something, 76%.
And what was the numerical number?
247,000 votes cast in the city of Milwaukee.
Obama got substantially more votes in Milwaukee than Joe Biden did.
Almost 40,000 votes.
And obviously they're not the same candidate, but the margin of differential, Hillary Clinton obviously lost this state by 23,000 votes. And it's great to see Milwaukee County and the city of Milwaukee turning out in higher numbers than they did for Hillary Clinton. Every vote counted, but ultimately didn't turn out like they did for Obama. And this,
basically, what I'm telling you, it's
told?
basically tied Hillary Clinton, is what I'm saying, the city of Milwaukee.
Turnout this year tied Hillary Clinton's turnout.
247,000 votes cast this year, 247,000 votes cast in 2016.
So they didn't improve the Hillary Clinton turnout. The county overall did a little bit better, 83% as a county, but the city of Milwaukee did not turn out for Joe Biden. Still did not engage African-American voters in the city of Milwaukee, or the turnout numbers would have more closely resembled the Obama years, 08 and 12, not the Hillary Clinton years, when only 47% of African Americans turned out. Maybe Joe Biden got a little lucky. Thank God we were on the radio giving him air support. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. Hour 2 is next. Want to hear from you. Hopefully you're feeling good about the victory. A recount being threatened. It is imminent here in the state of Wisconsin. But that just makes Republicans snowflake, Jill Stein loving, recount begging, hypocritical little bitches. That's my thought for hour 1. Come back. Hour 2 is next. More Devils.
Max Inc. Radio, this is Rokker. Hey, Jimmy, I've been invited to the White House, and he wants me to bring some of that guacamole. What if he double dips, Jimmy?
Double Dip with Mag Zink on Devil Radio 92.7 FM. In-depth interviews, new music, and plenty of throwbacks. Saturday, 6 p.m.
Right back to the beginning, Rokker.
Stream the Devils and progressive news and talk 24/7 at the Devil's Advocates Radio Network, Wisconsin. That's DARNWI.com. That's DARNWI.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Santita Jackson of The Santita Jackson Show. Every Friday morning at 7 o'clock, let's fix our society by fixing ourselves with the Love Doc, Dr. Brenda Wade on The Santita Jackson Show on 92.7 FM.
You are listening to WTTN 1580 AM Columbus and W224EG 92.7 FM Madison. Always streaming at Talk 92.7 FM.
AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. Ballots are still being counted in some key battleground states. No winner yet. The AP Sagar Magani reports on a key victory for Joe Biden.
Biden has won Wisconsin by fewer than 21,000 votes, or about 0.6 of a percentage point. The state allows recounts when the margin is within 1 point, and the Trump campaign is promising to seek one. Biden's win comes after Trump narrowly flipped the state 4 years ago. Wisconsin gives Biden 10 more electoral votes. He leads the president 248 to 214. It takes 270 to win. Sagar Magani, Washington.
The Trump campaign says it's suing to temporarily stop the vote count in Pennsylvania, claiming lack of transparency. In Michigan, Joe Biden has a slight lead, and the Trump campaign has filed a lawsuit to stop the vote counting there. Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson in Michigan says there are a lot of absentee ballots.
In this election, where over 5 million citizens voted, 2/3 of that, 3.2 million citizens at least, voted absentee.
American University political science professor David Barker says this won't help ease tensions in the country.
Haggling this out and through the courts and all for several weeks is about the worst possible outcome that we could have imagined, because half of the country, one way or the other, is going to believe that they were cheated out of this thing.
Arizona's total coronavirus cases surpassed 250,000, as well as more than 1,000 hospitalized patients for the first time since late August. North Dakota's Attorney General says the governor, Doug Burgum, has no authority to appoint a coal company executive to fill a state house seat won by a Republican who died before the election. David Anhall died last month from the coronavirus. Strong gains again today at the close on Wall Street. This is AP News.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Wash your hands, avoid sick people, and touching your face. There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. Brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Hey folks, this is Patrick, one of the owners of Pegasus Games. For 40 years, Pegasus has been a home for the gaming community. And through these times, our community has remained strong and connected, both online and safely at home. While you've been away, we've been hard at work updating our game room and inventory, and we can't wait to invite you home. For now, stop by the store during our reduced hours from noon to 6. Walk-ins welcome, or curbside pickup available over the phone or online at pegasusgames.com. Pegasus Games, home to games you never outgrow.
Stream the Devils and progressive news and talk 24/7 at the Devil's Advocates Radio Network, Wisconsin. That's DARNWI.com. That's DARNWI.com.
Hi, this is Dom from the Devil's Advocates inviting you to join us on Patreon.com. Patreon allows for our audience to access exclusive programming not available anywhere else and gives you the ability to directly support the greatest radio show ever. History's patrons have supported the works of Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Monet, and now with your support, the Devil's Advocates. So please go to Patreon.com and search the Devil's Advocates to pick your subscription. That's Patreon.com and the Devil's Advocates, the greatest radio show ever.
Hey folks, Jimmy K here from Hotel K Pet Sitting and Dog Walking. Hotel K is your pet's new best friend, offering dog walks, cat care visits, and professional house sitting in the greater Madison area. Our pet sitters are experienced, dependable, and offer you peace of mind while you're away. Schedule now at freebellyrubs.com. Freebellyrubs.com. Hotel K Pet Sitting and Dog Walking. Freebellyrubs.com.
For Devil Radio, 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM. I'm Luke Mathers with your headlines for Wednesday, November 4th. Totals from Milwaukee, Kenosha, and Green Bay pushed Biden to a 20,000 vote lead in Wisconsin. Wisconsin once again went down to the wire in the 2020 election, with Democrat Joe Biden holding a lead around 20,000 votes with almost all of the unofficial returns in. That is very close to Trump's winning margin in 2016. Biden overtook Trump in the early morning hours when the city of Milwaukee finally reported its roughly 170,000 absentee votes, which were overwhelmingly Democratic. Then, late returns from Green Bay and the city of Kenosha added to his slender lead. The national election is too close to call, coming down to key swing states including Wisconsin. You're listening to Devil Radio, 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves' corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back. Hour 2 of the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, a dumb Trump hump day after the election edition. And Dom, the numbers, they're starting to settle. Joe Biden has been declared the winner of the great state of Wisconsin. And by virtue of that win, he has won the National Electoral College 270. And I can do the math quickly. Wisconsin, Michigan, Nevada, and Arizona. And Joe Biden is your president, folks. That's 270. Everything else is just running it up on the scoreboard. But Dominic, back to this thought. I pressed you about Milwaukee turnout.
The East Coast, West Coast rivalry we got going on here, man. Yeah, unfortunately, Crudy, no matter how we look at it, from Milwaukee County versus Dane County or City of Milwaukee versus City of Madison, Madison, props. Our Madison's brothers and sisters, you did it. In fact, we looked
Dane
at
County more broadly, but Madison will take credit as well.
In 2016, as mentioned, 247,836 votes cast for Hillary Clinton. 2020 for Joe Biden, 247,679. My math says there were 157 fewer votes this time around for Biden in the city of Milwaukee than for Hillary in 2016.
And Hillary barely spent in Wisconsin. Very late. The resources came in very late. And Joe Biden had been up with ads in Milwaukee specifically, like one of the top media markets in the nation. Joe Biden is clobbering the airwaves since August or before. So my question becomes, what did all of that grandiose investment get the Democrats? 157 fewer votes in Milwaukee than Hillary Clinton got in the year she lost. And this was supposed to be the craziest, the most important election of every Milwaukee and every Wisconsinite's lifetime. Hell, nationwide, right? Wake up, America. Do something about it. And they got less voters out in the city of Milwaukee. That is a depressing turnout story. And I would wonder, was it really, really a good night for the Democrats? I know we've got callers, and we certainly want them, and we'll take them at 844-967-2789. Molly Beck, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Preliminary results from Wisconsin legislative races show Democrats flip 2 assembly seats, and didn't look like they were going to flip any last night. Hell, I was wondering if Robin Vining was going to lose last night. Republicans flipped 2 Senate seats. Well, that is a more precarious spot for the Democrats. Let me read. Despite spending millions of dollars in legislative races, it appears Democrats wound up with no new advantage in the state legislature, flipping 2 seats in the assembly and losing 2 seats in the Senate. But Tuesday's election results, still preliminary, chipped away at the conservative stronghold in Milwaukee suburbs with losses of 2 previously popular GOP incumbents. Democratic candidates defeated Republican incumbents Reps Jim Ott of Mequon and Rob Hutton of Brookfield. Deb Andrinka of Whitefish Bay defeated Ott by 1,325 votes, and Sarah Rodriguez of Brookfield won her race by 725 based on preliminary results. Ott and Hutton had served in the assembly since 06 and 13 respectively, and held the seats without serious challengers until the election of President Donald Trump in 16. Meanwhile, Republicans picked up 2 seats in the state Senate. GOP state rep Rob Staffholtz of New Richmond defeated Patty Schachner of Somerset. That was
if I may interject here, we got Joe Biden speaking. Can we grab any of that sound somehow, Luke? The vice president is speaking as we are talking right now. Until we can do something about that, could you please continue?
Well, Schachner obviously picked up the 10th in a special election, and that 2018 victory marked the beginning of a blue wave, right? And Green Bay attorney Eric Wimberger also won a Senate seat held by longtime Democrat Senate Dave Hansen. He defeated Hansen's nephew, Jonathan, by 8,234 votes. Thank God for Brad Plaff, or we would have lost the Senate to the point where they could override Tony Evers' vetoes. The margin now 1 seat. And we got a special election coming up in the Senate 13th, Fitzy's old seat. We'll talk about that soon, but let's take some Joe Biden. If we can take the sound, let's do a live listen in Joe Biden.
Virtually the same margin that President Trump won that state 4 years ago. In Michigan,
that was Wisconsin,
we lead by over 35,000 votes, and it's growing. A substantially bigger margin than President Trump won Michigan in 2016. Michigan will complete its vote soon, maybe as early as today. And I feel very good about Pennsylvania. Virtually all the remaining ballots to be counted were cast by mail. And we've been winning 78% of the votes by mail in Pennsylvania. We've flipped Arizona and the 2nd District of Nebraska. Of special significance to me is that we've won with the majority of the American people. And every indication is that that majority will grow. We have a popular vote lead of nearly 3 million votes, and every indication is that will grow as well. Indeed, Senator Harris and I are on track to win more votes than any ticket in the history of this country that ever won the presidency and vice presidency. Over 70 million votes. I'm very proud of our campaign. Only 3 presidential campaigns in the past have defeated an incumbent president. When it's finished, God willing, we'll be the 4th. This is a major achievement. This is a major achievement. And it's been a long and difficult campaign, but it's been a more difficult time for our country, a hard time. We've had hard campaigns before. We've faced hard times before. So once this election is finalized and behind us, it'll be time for us to do what we've always done as Americans, to put the harsh rhetoric of the campaign behind us, to lower the temperature, to see each other again, to listen to one another, to to hear each other again and respect and care for one another, to unite, to heal, to come together as a nation. I know this won't be easy. I'm not naive. Neither of us are. I know how deep and hard the opposing views are in our country on so many things. But I also know this as well. To make progress, we have to stop treating our opponents as enemies. We are not enemies. What brings us together as Americans is so much stronger than anything that can tear us apart. So let me be clear. We are campaigning as a Democrat, but I will govern as an American president. The presidency itself is not a partisan institution. It's the one office in this nation that represents everyone. And it demands a duty of care for all Americans. And that is precisely what I will do. I will work as hard for those who didn't vote for me as I will for those who did vote for me. Now, every vote must be counted. No one's going to take our democracy away from us. Not now, not ever. America's come too far. America's fought too many battles. America's endured too much to ever let that happen. We, the people, will not be silenced. We, the people, will not be bullied. We, the people, will not surrender. My friends, I'm confident we'll emerge victorious. But this will not be my victory alone or our victory alone. It'll be a victory for the American people, for our democracy, for America. And there will be no blue states and red states when we win, just the United States of America. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
Let's see if he takes questions.
Thank you.
Not taking questions. There's your president-elect Joe Biden laying out the electoral math across the upper Midwest. Joe Biden won the state of Wisconsin by a margin, tentative margin, about 21,000. That's roughly the very same margin that Trump won the state of Wisconsin. And all the Trumpsters, they whined and cried because Jill Stein would ask for a recount. How dare she? Let's stick it to her. Let's charge her millions of dollars, right?
Uh-huh.
I expect them to charge Trump the highest rate possible. And I want cash up front on behalf of the great people
absolutely.
of Wisconsin.
Anytime you deal with the Trump family, you better get that cash up front. A great message, again, for someone, by someone who has been around, someone who has empathy, someone who cares about this country, someone who cares about his fellow citizens and recognizes the differences and the challenges that we all have. An entirely different tone than set by the current president in his 2:30 a.m. Eastern time speech last night. We have some sound of that. Perhaps we'll get to that in the next segment.
Our buddy Joe Sapecki told us yesterday, win humbly. Well, this is about as humble as we get. Enjoying a glorious victory over Donald Trump. Certainly here in the state of Wisconsin, we have turned it blue once again. And in no small part, that is Dane County, that is Madison, outperforming any numbers we've ever seen locally and carrying Joe Biden to a glorious victory in my home state by roughly the same margin that Donald Trump won by, ironically, in 2016. And here we are, the day after the election, doing political talk, no Christmas music. We didn't turn the radio station off on you people. Although a differing outcome last night, it could have been, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Come back with us. Tomorrow, National Hug a White Supremacist Day. They're going to need it. More Devil's Advocates on the other side. My friend Jesse put that on the Facebook page. I found it rather clever. He said he was going to tag some friends. He said, but, after last night, didn't want to call him out like that. They're already having a bad day. More Devil's Advocates on the other side. Joe Biden, your president-elect.
Stream the Devils and Progressive News and Talk 24/7 at the Devil's Advocates Radio Network, Wisconsin. That's DARNWI.com. That's DARNWI.com.
The Lazy Oaf Lounge is Madison's East Side place for friends and family. Whether it's for lunch or dinner, you know you're in for a tasty treat. Awesome apps, burgers, pizza, and the best fish fry in Madison. And join us to cheer on the green and gold with 50-cent wings, beer bucket specials, and free Jell-O shots with every Green Bay touchdown. Plenty of TVs inside or out on the patio. The Lazy Oaf Lounge, 1617 North Stoughton Road, and online at lazyoaflounge.com.
Whiz Cannabis Radio is brought to you by Herbal Aspect, Madison's #1 CBD brand. You can catch the show live on our social channels. Just search for Whiz Cannabis Radio. Herbal Aspect is a local Black-owned small business. For more information, go to herbalaspect.com.
Hey, Dom, is your carpeting starting to have a little bit of a funk to it?
That's a bit of a personal question, Crudy.
No, I know this is really busy time for one of our sponsors, Zero Res of Madison. People want a cleaner, healthier home.
You mean spending the entire quarantine locked in with bacteria and allergens isn't healthy? Who knew?
You want to get it professionally cleaned well before it gets funky. Even if you vacuum frequently,
I vacuum a lot.
You still need to get it professionally cleaned. Schedule your carpet cleaning online at ZeroResMadison.com. Tell them the Devil's Advocate sent you.
The Devil's Advocates.
U.S. Senator Ron Johnson, our friend, live via phone. What about simply raising the age of weapons purchases to 21 years of age?
We're sending 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds over to Afghanistan, and they're dying. They ought to be able to vote. They ought to be able to have a beer, and they ought to be able to buy a gun to hunt with as well.
Are you suggesting we lower the drinking age?
No. Can't they do that now? What is the age nowadays?
It's 21, sir.
We drink when we toast. We toast when we drink.
Yikes.
Stay informed with Progressive News and Talk on Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, Wanakee's choice for essential radio.
The Devil's Advocates. They refuse to do math on the radio.
A beautiful sight. We're happy tonight. Walking in a winter wonderland.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates radio show, dreaming of an Aussie little Christmas. Phone lines are open, and we're not playing Christmas music. It's only Ozzy. 844-967-2789.
I don't know if that makes it better or worse.
Better, of course. Ozzy makes everything better.
Let's get to the phones. Jeannie from Middleton, you're next. Welcome to the political party. What do you got for us?
Hi, Jeannie.
Well, hi, Crudy. I first want to thank you very much for giving us this wonderful radio station so that we can be informed consumers. So thank you, and I am signing up for the Patreon to support, your efforts here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And number two, I yesterday I was thinking, oh dear, what's going to happen here? And I had anticipated that this election would follow the example of the Evers-Walker's race. And I think we both can agree it's pretty similar in the sense that it was a very close margin. And I view that as a win-win for both sides because, both sides can basically say we got 50% of the vote and we can all walk away and say, yep, we both won. And why that's good is, one, it gave us insight to how, let's just say, the other 50% of our neighbors view the political environment today in, whether it be Wisconsin or the U.S. And I think that that's a valuable thing to know.
But Jeannie, God, I didn't know there were so many of them.
Yeah, you did.
Well,
come on.
Well, I, like Jeannie, live in Middleton, and it's pretty liberal, pretty progressive, pretty democratic in Middleton, and turnout astronomically high. But Jeannie, please continue. Don't mean to interrupt.
Sure. But I also wanted to say the idea that, like Evers, I think that with the change in tone, I anticipate that the violence and all the negativity that's been going on will hopefully be minimized in the coming days. However, I wanted to give you one insight as it related to the results in Milwaukee.
Yes, ma'am.
Chance, do you follow Chris Hedges?
I feel like I've heard the name, but I'm unfamiliar, Jeannie. I don't want to embarrass myself and claim I know him.
Sure. Anyhow, he's a very strong progressive. He's a talk show host, a reporter that's well known in the whole deal. Anyhow, he gave me insight to some stuff that I hadn't thought about. And it basically boiled down, he's very much progressive. He was obviously Bernie person like you and I. However, he said he could not vote. You know, he hates Trump, but he could not vote for Biden. And the reason for that is he is also a teacher in the prisons in New Jersey. And he says that Joe Biden is personally responsible for a lot of the people that were put in that prison because of his various policies that occurred under the Obama administration.
Sure.
And likewise, Harris did similar activities in California. And so I can understand very well why there's probably a lot of families in Milwaukee are saying, I can't stand that Biden. He put my son or husband or whatever, dad, in jail. And I could never vote for that person. And the same thing is true, you know, like we were thinking, you know, they're always putting the woman in the African-American woman in the whole deal. Well, you know, people aren't buying that. You know, they want to know what you do and what you're going to do for me. And Kamala Harris and Joe Biden didn't do it for them. So I understand. I mean, I voted for Clinton last time, and she didn't do anything for me. And I reluctantly voted for Biden this time. But again, I'm expecting to see a public option of health care come out of this deal, because the Democrats got to start realizing that people like me expect more than a vote. You know, I'll give them my vote, but I expect results to be acting in the best interest of the majority of people in the U.S. as well.
Appreciate your thought, Jeannie. Don't want to cut you short, but got lots of people that want to get their opinions out there. We've got some Bernie sound. Maybe we'll play that as well. Trying to fit lots of stuff in, including your opinions on last night's election. Joe Biden's glorious victory. Some progressives unable to pull the trigger for Joe. But this, for me, I got to be very honest. Jeannie, it was a much easier vote for me than Hillary Clinton. Far, far easier. No regrets, no dilemmas, just filled in the bubble and moved on. 844-967-2789. Moving on down the phone lines. Betsy, welcome back, Betsy. How you feeling today?
Hey, Betsy.
I am so relieved that Biden won our state. I have such negativity from this president that we have now, when he came out and already started disputing the election results. And I'm still afraid that he won't go peacefully. And I don't understand why people don't vote for the greater good. I mean, this is politics. Democrats, Republicans, they all have their flaws. But when it comes to our country, we all have to come together and do the greater good. And now Mitch McConnell, he's still there. And he's going to obstruct just like he did when Obama was president.
And John Cornyn and Tom Cotton and Susan Collins of Maine and on down the list. The Democrats didn't get it done entirely because even when Joe Biden eventually wins the presidency and he's got the 270 electoral votes, I feel quite confident, Betsy, but he doesn't have not even 50 in the Senate, and Kamala Harris can be the president of the Senate. But if you don't have 50, you're Scrooged. And that's where Joe Biden will find himself, Betsy.
Yeah, we got our work cut out for us. But I also want to say it's because of you guys. The one progressive radio station in Wisconsin, that you brought us to victory once again, you guys. You don't know how important you are. You are vital to our whole state, and I thank you with the bottom of my heart. God bless you guys. God bless you. Thank you. All right, let's go.
Kind words, Betsy.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
Yes, and there are two signals. WTTN 1580 AM, 92.7 FM here in Madison. Kicking ass against Republicans since before the Wisconsin recall. Come back with us. More Devils after it's more of your calls. 844-967-2789.
From the Capitol in Madison, this is Wiz Politics Midday.
I'm Stephanie Hoff, your host, and this podcast is brought to you by Spectrum.
It's the day after Election Day, but we have yet to know who will lead the United States. It remains too close to call in Wisconsin, as well as some other battleground states, but Biden does lead by a slim margin here in the Badger State. WisPolitics.com President Jeff Mayers is on the line to dive into the notable races here in Wisconsin. But first, in flip state fashion, a tight presidential race is not new. Is that right?
Yeah, here we are again. Wisconsin has a close presidential race. It's not quite as close back in 2000 when Al Gore won the state by just 5,700 votes and then went on to lose the election to George Bush. And it's not as tight right now as it was when John Kerry took the state and went on to lose by 11,400 votes in 2004. It's more like the margin that we had 4 years ago, only that Biden has the margin now, not Trump. So, right now, as of this morning, it was Biden had an edge of almost 21,000 votes. And it has yet to be called by the Associated Press, which is, kind of the gold standard in terms of calling races. It has yet to be called. But the Biden campaign this morning, the national campaign manager said, it should be called because, Biden's won Wisconsin. And some other political pundits have said that you can just pencil in Wisconsin as a Biden win. But it has yet to be called. And so it's one of those states that's at least formally on the bubble as of 11 o'clock the day after.
And Jeff, Wisconsin's members of Congress have all been called. We'll continue to have 3 Dems in the House and 5 Republicans. They're all incumbents except for Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald, who won District 5. And all went as expected, except Representative Ron Kind's victory margin. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so the only real competitive race going into the election season here on the Congress side was the 3rd Congressional District. That's Western Wisconsin, La Crosse area. And Ron Kind's been representing that for some time. He's a moderate Democrat. And Trump won that district back in 2016. Ron Kind was unopposed, so he won the election. And Republicans have been after him ever since, and they thought that this year was the time to get him. And they thought they had a good candidate in Navy SEAL Derek Van Orden. And but the Republican money kind of evaporated toward the end, and then it turns out that Ron Kind kind of squeaked by. He won with 51.5% of the vote. I think maybe Republicans might be kicking themselves over pulling the money out of that one. But on the rest of the slate, all the incumbents won. The Jim Sensenbrenner's 5th Congressional District on the north side of Milwaukee stays Republican. It's a very conservative district. And Scott Fitzgerald, who's the Senate Majority Leader, the outgoing Senate Majority Leader and future congressman now.
Moving into our own state capitol building, Republicans in the Senate are at a 21-12 majority. And Jeff, that's the largest majority for either caucus since the 70s. Was that expected to happen?
Well, Democrats were on the defensive here in the Senate because they had to defend 3 swing seats, and so that was a tough one.
Taking on Ready Whitey Talk Radio on both sides of the dial from McFarland to Wanakee, Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
The Devil's Advocates may not agree on much, but funny is funny.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, the Dump Trump edition. And Joe Biden, well on his way to doing that. He has won the great state of Wisconsin. And I think he's already got the prerequisite 270 electoral college votes or more. And Dominic, we welcome a fine guest live via Zoom. She is our pal Maggie Dawn, a fine attorney, Milwaukee County Corporate Counsel, and a sometimes guest host, sometimes host on this fine radio network. Maggie, welcome back. Oh, can't hear Maggie. Hold on, Maggie. Make Maggie.
The old mute button, right? Great to be with you guys.
And breaking news, NBC is announcing that Michigan is being called for Biden literally within the last few minutes. That would bring
Biden like 6 hours ago. I've already put Michigan in the Biden column.
Well, then he's at if we're not just using the Mike Crudy statistical analysis machine, that puts Biden at 264, which means if he just picks up little old Nevada, we're in the home stretch. It also means that even if you put Michigan back in play, if you run the numbers, Trump has to win at least four of the remaining 5 states to be called. Those are Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, and Nevada. The Trump window has probably shut. It looks like it's narrowing by the minute. So let's all hold our collective breaths and hope that we squeak this one out.
I feel much better today than I was feeling at about 1 o'clock in the morning, and not just because my belly was burning from all the rum, but it was a nerve-wracking night. Maggie, I thought this massive early voting, absentee voting, I thought that had to be a wonderful bellwether for Biden and the Democratic Party. And no doubt, lots and lots of people turned out, but Trump also turned out his. It was an amazing turnout. Not just in the state of Wisconsin, but across the nation. But Maggie, I got lulled into thinking Joe Biden would have a big lead. By the turnout numbers, it might turn into a blue wave, but it will take days or weeks for us to know that for sure.
I think that's accurate. We know that Trump is now saying that he's going to be asking for a recount here in Wisconsin. He's at least filed or is saying that he's going to file 2 somewhat inconsistent lawsuits in Pennsylvania, one to stop the counting of absentee ballots, the other one basically asking for the count to be sped up. Not sure how those are legally consistent. He also made mention both late last night that he had won and that he was going to go directly to the Supreme Court. There is no mechanism under our system of laws to get any case directly into the Supreme Court, whether it's about a presidential election or a contract dispute. That simply is not a mechanism that is available in our federal courts.
Maggie, that only happens here in the state of Wisconsin, where the conservative bloc just grabs up cases.
Yeah, that's a little unique artifact that we have here in Wisconsin, which has been obviously, I think, has had a direct impact on the over partisanship that we're now observing within our Supreme Court. But again, that's not the case for the U.S. Supreme Court. So, it's looking really good for Joe. It would be very helpful if he could pick up at least 2 more states in addition to Michigan. In other words, he needs at least 1, but trying to push those states beyond, or the electoral vote count beyond that which is reasonably debatable, I think would be extremely, extremely helpful. There are a number of Senate races in those states as well that are by razor thin margins right now. So I think you're absolutely right, Mike and Dom. This may be a good week plus before we actually know definitively what the lay of the land is, particularly in the Senate, but exactly what's what in terms of final election.
Maggie, Dawn, if you can still hear me, Maggie, if you can hear me, I want to know the recount process. It has changed here in the state of Wisconsin. My understanding, a bunch of spoiled sport Republicans, after Jill Stein actively sought and was granted a recount in the state of Wisconsin, they changed statute. And now you've got to be within a 1% margin. My understanding is Trump will be within the statutory margins. Well, do we, the taxpayers, have to pay for that? Does the Trump campaign? And if that's the case, are we getting cash on the front end?
All right. I believe, and I don't know this to a certainty, so if your listeners know different, they should call in and help us correct the record. But I believe that the state law, yes, it's within the 1% margin is the only way that you can even qualify to ask for a recount. And then if you do, and the recount confirms the original results, you have to pay for the recount. I think that is the rule here. I could be wrong, and maybe during the next commercial break, I'll do some Googling and figure that out. But either way, the taxpayers at the front end are going to essentially foot the bill to fund the recount.
Folks, you are listening to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Got a fine guest live via Zoom. She is attorney Maggie Dawn of the Resistance, sometimes heard on these airwaves. Maggie, overall, the turnout, it was overwhelming in Dane County and Madison, and more than made up the margin of victory. And we looked at Milwaukee, and some disappointment at the turnout in Milwaukee. Less votes cast in the city of Milwaukee for Joe Biden than for Hillary Clinton.
It continues to be a big head scratcher. And I'm not sure if this is something that we'll be able to ferret out and some of the post-election analyses, if this is reflective of the margin or the difference that Trump had with young African-American men. His polling was quite bad with that demographic, particularly relative to Hillary Clinton, but I have just no idea what's going on there. That seems just very odd to me, but it is reflective, I think, of some of the some of the difficulty, I think, connecting with our Black and brown communities by politicians here in Wisconsin, as well as, frankly, the pandemic. Black and brown folks die at 3.5 to 4 times the rate of white folks from the coronavirus, and we may be seeing some reflection of that in the turnout numbers here in the city.
Folks, you're listening to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Maggie Dawn of the Resistance, our friend, joins us via the Zoom. Found some info on the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. I think Patrick Marley wrote this regarding a recount here in the state of Wisconsin. If the official results show the race being decided by a 1/4 of a percentage point or less, the state will pay for the recount. If the margin is between a 1/4 of a percentage point and a full point, the Trump campaign will have to pay for it.
No recount without the cash.
Cash up front. So some clarity there on the recount. And it may not matter. As you mentioned, Maggie, there are still some states in play. I mean, literally, if a couple of those states, as you mentioned, go Joe Biden's way, they're not going to spend the money or the time because the math, no matter what happens in Wisconsin, it would not affect the final outcome.
Well, I think that's the whole picture matters. Now, given Donald Trump's approach in this election, you may see challenges in all of these last 5 states of some stripe, whether it's a recount or a legal challenge or arguing about, if a signature is perfect on an absentee or early voted ballot, simply because his brand has been to basically undermine democracy and undermine the voting process at every conceivable opportunity. And I thought he sounded like a lunatic last night. I mean, speaking from the White House, declaring victory, it was like, now you're Putin, basically. Okay. I mean, it was just totally bizarre. And when you get a guy like Rick Santorum, not really known for being either credible or intellectually consistent, right? When Rick Santorum gets on the horn and calls that out and says the president shouldn't have done that, that's bad, right? Like, if Rick Santorum knows that you're screwing up and says that publicly, that is not a good indicator.
Oh, Rick Santorum. I even saw Scott Walker apparently making note of the thought of a.
I was a nonpartisan.
Oh, we got some
Maggie,
Zoom.
Sorry, I had a little delay into a head hunt.
Well, it's not just a Rick Santorum, of course, and we'll take what we can get. Anyone who tries to speak some logic. Apparently, Scott Walker also noting that the recounts of the last couple of recounts we had in the state of Wisconsin would not even come close to overcoming a 20,000 vote deficit. So, and I guess not to put those guys on a pedestal, but I think it's important that that kind of reason, shall we call it, from other conservatives shall hopefully resonate with some of those Trump followers, because that's what really concerns me. Donald Trump is still going to be in the White House tomorrow, the next day when the actual results come in. He's still going to be there. He still has the new codes. He still has a lot of people that are really pulling for him, and he's got a few fanatics that are, on the sidelines standing by, Maggie. So anytime we can get some other Republicans, Santorum, Walker, whoever, to at least, try to put some reason into it and some in a different voice other than Trump, because Trump did sound totally insane last night. It sounded like a total fascist hardline, and the audience that was, the family walks in, everybody claps. It was just a very, very strange event last night, Maggie. So I'll take some reason from the GOP or other conservatives if we can get it.
As I was saying, I hope my internet's a little bit better. I'll try to switch networks at the break. But I worked with the district attorney's office and the attorney general's office as nonpartisan polling observers yesterday, and I was dispatched into West Milwaukee and West Allis. And the lines were long, but not obscene. It was the longest line we were seeing was generally running like just slightly over an hour. But to me, it was interesting that those long lines were at the polling places of the 6 that I was monitoring. The longest were at Nathan Hale High School and Lane Elementary School. And there was no line at all in the West Milwaukee Civic Center, which is sort of more, closer to sort of the downtown east side, right? And Hale and Lane Elementary are much further west and south. So it was interesting to me that if you're just sort of taking a finger in the air, look at, well, who do I think is turning out and voting a lot, and what would their likely, based on the demography of those areas. Well, the one polling place that I had that is much more city vibe, east and more north, 0 line, 0 wait. The places that were further south and west, largely whiter, if I can be so blunt, those had long lines. So, even that little microcosm that I was observing seemed to have some obvious tilt towards Trump, which is what we all expected. The other thing that I found really remarkable was that at the 6 locations I was responsible for, and of the over 50 lawyers from across corporation counsel, city attorneys' offices, DA and state AG's office, 50 plus lawyers out in the Milwaukee area, there were no significant disturbances. No one ran out of ballots. We didn't see partisan poll watchers engaging in systemic pretextual challenges of electors. So overall, again, I think we here in Wisconsin can have a really high degree of confidence that this was a fair election and that all validly cast ballots have been counted, and that will be confirmed by a recount if the Trump campaign proceeds.
Hey, Don, today Rush Limbaugh on his vast radio network said he does not lose with grace, and he doesn't think Donald Trump should either. Kicking and screaming is the only way he's leaving. Maggie, how much kicking and screaming do you think we're going to see from this president?
It'll be like a newly born baby. He's just got his butt slapped.
Perhaps. Never mind. Come back with us.
We'll leave that one for the break.
You know that procedure the young boys have at the hospital leaves them a little perturbed.
Yeah.
Sam.
Lifetime of trauma.
Slow it down for Dom. Come back with us. More Maggie Dunn, our podcast. The jokes are always funnier when I explain them. More Devil's Advocates, more of Maggie. We'll be right back.
Cry me a river. Cry me a river. Cry me a river. Cry me a river. Cry me a river.
Okay, keep her moving. This is Tony with Quality CBD. We are located on Willie Street across from the co-op. At Quality CBD, we are vertically integrated. From soil to oil and seed to sale, we grow, extract, manufacture, and distribute quality CBD oil. We also have contact-free delivery options at qualitycbd.org. Quality CBD. Legal, local.
Do you have a song request? Oh, never mind. Maggie's gone.
Stream the
You got a
Devils
song
and
request,
Progressive
Tom?
News and Talk 24/7 at the Devil's Advocates Radio Network, Wisconsin. That's DARNWI.com. That's DARNWI.com.
Hi, this is Dom from the Devil's Advocates inviting you to join us on Patreon.com. Patreon allows for our audience to access exclusive programming not available anywhere else and gives you the ability to directly support the greatest radio show ever. History's patrons have supported the works of Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Monet, and now with your support, the Devil's Advocates. So please go to Patreon.com and search the Devil's Advocates to pick your subscription. That's Patreon.com and the Devil's Advocates, the greatest radio show ever.
Madison, you say what? Each weeknight from 5 to 6 and Saturdays noon to 2. Don't miss out on a single day of the Earl Ingram Show right here on Devil Radio 92.7 FM, 1580 AM.
The Devil's Advocates.
There are lots of people that haven't made up their mind on this race, and you think, how could that be? No, there are. There are a lot of people that could still make a decision all the way on election day down.
Undecided voters are the biggest idiots on the planet. Try giving short, simple answers.
Like you'll go person, woman, man, camera, TV. Yosemites, Yosemites.
Because freedom.
From Wanakee to McFarland, 92.7 FM is essential radio to get you through the pandemic.
60% of the time, they're right every time. Dom and Cruz are the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. If you miss any of this fine program, please go online to domandcroot.com. You can listen to and download podcasts and interviews.
Dominic, our fine guest, sort of like Trump during the pandemic. She abandoned ship. Where'd Maggie go? Come back, Maggie. We're doing live radio here. We need you. Maggie, Dawn, our good friend and fine guest, Milwaukee County Corporate Counsel. She, of course, an attorney, Dom, a very smart woman, usually the smartest woman in any room she's in. And fortunately, she's not in the same room with me because she'd still be the smartest person in that room. A lot of respect for Maggie when she comes back from wherever she went to. Must be snack time.
844-967-2789. Crudy, the head of the Drudge Report, one of my favorite sources, has Biden at 264 electoral college votes, Trump at 214.
Well, I got Joe Biden at 270. So I've already put Joe down as a victor in the electoral college. Maggie, Don, welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. So I got Joe winning the state of Wisconsin and running the table. I've already put him down for 270. So let's turn to some of the local races. Do you think it was a good night overall for Democrats in the state of Wisconsin? 2 pickups in the assembly, but 2 loss seats, very vital loss seats in the Senate. A very mixed bag here for the Democrats.
Yeah, I sort of view it as like, meh, our great hope with the congressional district that Scott Fitzgerald was running against Tom Paulswitz just killed Paulswitz. That was really disappointing. So no great unseats. I think, picking up 2 in the assembly helps. Losing 2 hurts a little bit more on the state Senate side simply because of the numbers overall in both of those chambers. So I view it as an average night, but I think, if these vote totals hold and Wisconsin goes blue for Biden, that was what really mattered here. We're never going to be able to really fix what's going on in our state assembly or Senate until we correct partisan gerrymandering that is the worst in the nation. And that basically means that one person doesn't equal 1 vote. It's like 1.5 votes if you're a Republican, but like 3/4 of a vote if you're a Democrat.
We've heard that before.
Maggie, my greatest concern is that the Democrats had tremendous resources. Joe Biden probably spent something approaching $50 million in the state of Wisconsin. And in other elective cycles, when, let's say, there's not a presidential, typically the Democrats aren't going to bring this sort of firepower to the table. And my greatest concern is all this money gets spent. Joe Biden Democrats, there were $100 million U.S. Senate races. Harrison spent $57 million, got bubkissed the show, got double-digit losses. Here in the state of Wisconsin, we saw money going down ballot And I can appreciate that. The Ben Wickler, a rock star over at the DPW, raised oodles of money and shared down the ballot, but with very little effect in most of the races. And now the money's all spent and the ads have all aired. And my question is what remains behind? What infrastructure? What is it? Is it a voting list and they start again in 2 years? What happens now, Maggie, for the Dems?
Yeah, I think that's a really hard question, Mike. I mean, my argument would be Joe Biden spent exactly 50 million of the right dollars here if he can continue to keep this lead in that race. This is, in my view, I think reflective of how just entrenched the partisanship has become. That's where we are. Trump has pushed us into a level of polarization that I don't think any of us have ever seen during our lifetime. And until we figure out that we should actually publicly fund campaigns and that dollars are not the same thing as voice, until we agree that corporations aren't people and overturn Citizens United, you can expect this level of spend. The question is really, for each additional dollar of spend, how much impact does it have? And as ever, as an economist, to me, the law of diminishing marginal returns has been made very plain here. And I think the challenge to Democrats should really be about candidate quality. If we get really quality candidates here in Wisconsin, in districts where the demographics and the traditional party line breaks put that into play, we might be able to pull off some wins. But I'm not sure the dollars end up mattering all that much. Again, maybe, I think it's about the first in dollars. There's a critical mass of dollars that you're going to have in basically any election. But the dollars beyond whatever that tipping point level is, who knows if it really has any impact anymore, right? I think that's going to get analyzed.
Well, who will have lots of dollars, even if he has to self-fund? Rojo. Ron Johnson's on the ballot next. I mean, that race has already begun. Tom Nelson, out of Gamey County executive, has already reached out. He's already seeking interviews on the greatest radio show ever because he's already in it to win it. He's already the first declared Democrat in the 2022 cycle. And everyone's like, oh man, Joe Biden, the ink's not even dry on 270, Crudy. How can you be talking about that? Because the battle has already begun. And it will start immediately. And it's not just a Senate seat in the state of Wisconsin. It's the gubernatorial race. And the Republicans, I mean, Nicholson, he's already in, just waiting on Ron Johnson. Becky Clayfish, she's in it to win it. Hell, Robin Voss might throw his hat in the race. And I'm not sure that the Democrats will be prepared for what comes next because they didn't build anything with the $50 million other than some television station, savings accounts. They got rich, the TV owners, the rest of us wondering what comes next for the Dems.
All fair questions, and Evers is a really weak incumbent governor. He just is. I think people are really dissatisfied with what I can best describe as a haphazard public relations campaign relating to his response to the coronavirus, and not just haphazard PR, but his legal strategy was like non-existent. It was sort of very reactionary. I think people are going to remember that. And the Republicans will spend here. I mean, I think of my former boss, dear Chris Abele, please get out enormous checkbook. Start helping. Because if we were able to flip Rojo's seat, that would be a major, major victory. Plus, the guy's a moron. I'm just sick of listening to him duff around on things. It's like painful. Nails on chalkboard bad.
Some of our audience like to call him Moron Johnson.
Real quick update from Michigan. The Senate race, Peters in Michigan, state of Michigan, now up by 15,000 votes. So that Senate race isn't over yet either.
Thank you, Maggie Dawn, our good friend Maggie Dawn of the Resistance. Maybe she'll return to the airwaves now that the election's done. No promises. We'll see. Thanks, Maggie.
Bye, guys. Good to see you.
More Devil's Advocates, the 4 o'clock happy hour. It starts right now. Are you a small business owner or professional that would like to be featured in your own weekly Ask the Expert radio segment or show on Devil Radio? Let us help you in your business team with our broadcast professionals to create the right show or segment, setting you apart as the go-to professional and as an expert in your field. All shows and sponsored segments are podcasted. It will be professional broadcast quality. Packages from $395. Call Devil Radio today at 608-819-TALK.
I'm Rokker, and this is my vodka, distilled right here in Madison, made from corn and gluten-free. Try Rokker Vodka at Sal's Dark Horse on Livingston or Sugar River Pizza in Verona. Find Rokker Vodka at Star Liquor, Woodman's, Willie Street Co-op, Vic Pierce, Steve's Liquor, Total Wine, Miller & Sons, and more at rockervodka.com.
You are listening to WTTN 1580 AM Columbus and W224EG 92.7 FM Madison. Always streaming at Talk 92.7 FM.
AP News. I'm Ed Donahue. Joe Biden likes his chances of becoming the next president of the United States.
After a long night of counting, it's clear that we're winning enough states to reach 270 electoral votes needed to win the presidency.
Biden spoke in Wilmington, Delaware. He has won in Wisconsin and is inching closer to the 270 electoral votes needed to win. But there are votes that still need to be counted.
I'm not here to declare that we've won, but I am here to report when the count is finished, we believe we will be the winners.
The AP Sagar Magani has more on the latest Biden victory.
Wisconsin was part of the blue wall that crumbled to Donald Trump 4 years ago. Biden has flipped it back narrowly with a lead of fewer than 3/4 of a percentage point, and the Trump campaign has asked for a recount. In the meantime, Wisconsin's 10 electoral votes give Biden 248 of the 270 needed to win the White House. The president has 214. Sagar Magani, Washington.
The Trump campaign is also suing to temporarily stop the vote counts in Pennsylvania and Michigan. President Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, in Philadelphia, says the lawsuit involves observation of the vote count.
The way it's interpreted by the Democrat crooked machine of Philadelphia is that the observers can be 20 or 30 feet away, never able to see the ballot itself.
Postal Service inspectors found just 13 ballots, all in Pennsylvania, during an election day sweep of mail processing centers ordered by a federal judge. Voters agreed to strip the words "and Providence Plantations" from Rhode Island's formal name, an issue revived amid the nation's reckoning with racial injustice. The Dow finished up 367 points. This is AP News.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
MaxInc Radio, this is Rokker. Hey, Jimmy, I've been invited to the White House, and he wants me to bring some of that guacamole? What if he double dips, Jimmy?
Double Dip with Mag Zink on Devil Radio 92.7 FM. In-depth interviews, new music, and plenty of throwbacks. Saturday, 6 p.m.
Right back to the beginning, Rokker.
Dave, I heard you had a solution to Russia meddling in our elections.
Oh, yeah, Crudy. Community PC is Putin's worst nightmare. Voting machines are just computers, and Community PC's Tech Protect plan keeps computers safe and secure.
How can I learn more and protect my computer?
Well, to keep your computer up to date and secure, go to COMMPC.com to learn more and sign up for Tech Protect today. That's COMMPC.com. Community PC. We know what makes computers happy.
At Chad's Design Build, we value honesty, hard work, accountability, and humility. And we have the same expectations for our elected leaders. We don't ignore problems and we don't blame others when we make a mistake. Right now, we all need to focus on helping each other, restoring health to our community, demanding accountability from our leaders, and showing gratitude to the people who sacrifice for others. On behalf of our entire team at Chad's Design Build, this is Chad Spate.
For Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, I'm Luke Mathers with your headlines for Wednesday, November 4th. In Dane County, nearly 339,000 votes, or about 79% of the county's voting age population, were counted Tuesday night, with most precincts reporting results. In 2016, about 311,000 votes were cast. Voters passed Madison School District referendums by wide margin. District voters widely backed the $317 million capital referendum, largely targeted renovating aging high schools, and a $33 million operating referendum that would permanently increase the district's operating budget. Supermajority unlikely at this point. Many state races are still waiting to be officially called, but it appears Governor Evers will retain his veto powers. Forecast of a warm fall day today, high of 69 degrees, low of 48 degrees. You're listening to Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves' corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening.
3, 2, 1.
Now live from the heart of liberal Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning, welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Best friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Now here are your hosts, Dom and Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, the Dumb Trump 4 o'clock happy hour. And Dominic, I'm feeling happy. Joe Biden, the winner in the great state of Wisconsin. Joe Biden in my column has got 270 electoral college. So Joe Biden will be your next president. And he had lots and lots of resources that helped get him over the hump, right?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I asked Maggie a few pointed questions because I knew where I wanted to go next. Joe Biden spent something to the tune of $50 million in the state of Wisconsin. Ooh. And now the election's over. And thankfully, at least for a day, the campaign ads, they're all done. It's much quieter on the airwaves, television, radio. And that's a good thing for some, but less so if you own a radio station. Here's what I would say. I think that the infrastructure that I've been trying to build here, and my guys have helped me, and they put their blood, sweat, and tears out there, but it's been my credit and my money, ultimately, and we've built what I hope is a sustainable, progressive radio network here in Madison and obviously in Columbus. And I feel for our friends in Milwaukee, and I wish one man could pull it off financially in 4 different ports of call. But not this guy. I don't have rich parents. I'm not the fortunate son. But I can tell you, there has been progressive radio in the city of Madison, in Dane County, for 14 of the last 16 years. And when people talk about liberal Madison, who do you think made them liberal? Well, we played at least some small part. First, the Mike 92.1, and now Devil Radio 92.7. So my only thought is this. If we want to win what comes next, be it the senatorial race, the gubernatorial race, the special election in
There's
Wisconsin,
always something coming next.
Senate 13th, the Fitzy seat. You know what covers the Fitzy seat? Us. 1580 AM. It broadcasts from right in the middle of the 13th senatorial district. So here's my point. Patreon, Dom and I have talked about trying to get a little love from some of our fair fans, and we put up a very first video for our Patreon sponsors today. But I got to say this. We're going to do a little pledge drive here, and I'm going to ask for all of the generous listeners that would like to see this still be here in the midterms in 2022 to please help us out. Use the GoFundMe page. Real Resistance Radio in Wisconsin. I know we've rebranded, but it's still the GoFundMe page. And here's the point. As much as I'd like to say we're completely out of the woods, we're still in the midst of a world pandemic. And the state of Wisconsin, perhaps some of the worst numbers in the world. And a lot of our revenue outside of the political ads comes from restaurants, bars, and special events. And unfortunately, those are not going to happen again for our sponsors, for our friends out there in small business. But we are also trying to do business as a small business. And right now, we could use your help. I've tried to not ask political campaigns, give your money to the candidates, to the party, to the cause. But the cause continues. And the cause, there's always another battle on the horizon. And if we want a messaging platform in the state of Wisconsin, please don't make me continue to seek every nickel, dime, and quarter under the couch cushion. I sent them all to Bernie Sanders. I could use some help, and I'd appreciate it if you'd consider giving to the cause at the GoFundMe page. I've updated it, a new message. Thank you for all the former generous sponsors. And if you could do it again, we'd greatly appreciate it. And we'll continue making some of the best damn radio in the state of Wisconsin. And I can tell you, look at the Neubauer race. You remember how that felt?
Yeah.
Lost a Supreme Court race we should have won. Know what launched almost immediately after that? Devil Radio 92.7. We could have helped in that race. And Tony Evers, you know, I'm not saying Tony's not a fine candidate, but there's no way Tony Evers won the state of Wisconsin by 31,000 votes without a little bit of lift from this radio stations. And finally, Joe Biden, state of Wisconsin. No doubt. Milwaukee voted for him. Joe garnered votes all around the state. But Dane County, Madison, put his ass over the hump. And we do our part right here. And people tell us, oh, you're singing to the choir. Why do we need to buy ads there? You preach to the choir because you want them to sing. We're streaming 60,000 people a month from around the state of Wisconsin. They can't all hear the signal, but they can on their smartphones at darnwi.com. But we are going to continue to do this, to be relevant, to tell you the truth, and to help, you know, those willing to join us in this endeavor to help win electoral races, the close races. It's always a coin flip. And there's 81 of them, 81 right-wing talk radio stations in the state of Wisconsin, more or less profitable, one must assume they continue to operate.
And that does not include the religious stations as well, Michael.
And I would make one more point, and then we're going to get to the phones. News ain't free. And the Democrats, you know, the coastal elites, the consultants, they got paid. The media buyers, oh, they're all feeling flush. And they're all back in D.C. or New York or wherever they came from. But here's what I would say. Podcasts will not save America. Democrats keep wondering, why don't we connect with white working class voters? Because you know what? They listen to talk radio. And you cede the airwaves to Rush Limbaugh and Icky Vicky McKenna, Dan O'Donnell, and everybody else. And you can't continue to do that. Because when you're hugely resourced, when you got $50 million, you can eke out a win with a little help from Devil Radio. But if you don't have $50 million to drop on TV ads and you don't have a progressive radio network, what are you going to do? Put it behind the paywall on the Journal Sentinel Is that how we win elections in the state of Wisconsin? Unless you're willing to pay, you can't even get fact-based news in the state of Wisconsin anymore. So I realize this is free radio, free to you. But if you can give us a few bucks on the GoFundMe, save Real Resistance Radio in the state of Wisconsin, it will go to making the best damn radio we can.
Yeah, man.
And to winning, like we did last night for Joe Biden.
I am not
You're welcome.
tired of winning. I am not tired of winning. I'm ready for some more winning.
It's not nearly enough winning yet. 844-967-2789. Let's go to our friends on the airwaves. Who's first? Andy from Beaver Dam. Welcome back, Andy. What do you got for us?
Hey, Andy.
Well, I should have gave you $100 at the third anniversary party. A drop in the bucket to, and I just feel so damn bad that, the Milwaukee thing didn't work out for you, I mean, you really stuck a lot of money in there, and then the convention went to hell and everything else. It's just,
is there a good news part of this call? Because I've walked down this memory lane before, Andy, and
this is like, you hear this crap from me all the time. It's like old news, but you guys, you're resilient, and you got Madison going, and so it's they're sure Biden you helped. You got some Biden revenue, thank God, from all the advertising they did, and so it's just everybody's got to be in the trenches and try to do what they can to feed the monkeys,
Well,
and
certainly
keep it going.
Andy, 4 years ago today, Heartless Radio turned off the progressive talker and played Christmas music, a big middle finger to the entire state of Wisconsin. I have not stopped since that day. Every single day, 24/7. Ask my wife. It's all I think about, changing the politics and winning the elections in the state of Wisconsin and turning it blue. And again, Andy, mission accomplished, man. But that was yesterday's mission.
That was yesterday's show.
Right. Absolutely, man. It's a never-ending battle, especially, with all these outlayers out here with their Trump support and everything. I think, like Maggie said in the last hour, it's the divisiveness that's really, Biden spent $50 million. How much good did it do it? I don't know. Without Madison and Milwaukee, we'd be talking about Trump winning Wisconsin, but it's, it's the boots on the ground, getting out there and rounding up people to vote, minorities and stuff. I don't know if there's enough white progressives to carry the ball at this point in time.
Well, Andy, you know what we do on this radio station? We create minions. We create people that go and tell their friends at work or at the bar, listen to the Devil's Advocates, or listen to Devil Radio, or more importantly, get the truth and the facts. We'll give you the truth here, Andy. You don't get that on Righty Whitey Talk Radio at any cost.
844-967-2789. The calls are toll free. Mark from the Sack, you will be next.
Toll free to you. They cost somebody a little bit of cash.
What do you got for us, Mark?
Hey, Mark.
Hey, guys. It's hard to be humble. Like the song said, that
when you get better looking every day.
Advocates, it is hard to be humble, Mark.
Yeah, it's I just couldn't listen to anything last night. That so I kind of tuned out and kind of faded in and out. I had you on in the other room. That so when I passed through it, I heard some of it. That, but I mean that it's. With Corvid and all that, I think that might have hurt the turnout in Milwaukee to some extent. It was a real pleasure to hear Maggie on the radio. That miss her, that our golden goddess of progressive talk.
Well, unfortunately, she's got a big-time day job, keeps her kind of busy. Can't always gallivant on the radio with us, but we miss her too.
Yeah, but here's hoping we can. Biden needs to kick some ass when he gets into office and open investigations on all the little Russian operatives that we have working in our Senate.
Cannot wait for that.
Mark, appreciate your call. Thanks for listening intermittently last night. We only ask people for 3 hours a day. Last night, we should have asked for 7. And for you, Luker, like 10.
Yeah, look, come on, 12.
We're all very fresh today. I got a solid 3.5 hours. Luke probably got about the same. Come back, more Devils. Stream the Devils and progressive news and talk 24/7 at the Devils Advocates Radio Network, Wisconsin. That's DARNWI.com. That's DARNWI.com.
Hi, this is Dom from the Devil's Advocates inviting you to join us on Patreon.com. Patreon allows for our audience to access exclusive programming not available anywhere else and gives you the ability to directly support the greatest radio show ever. History's patrons have supported the works of Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Monet, and now with your support, the Devil's Advocates. So please go to Patreon.com and search the Devil's Advocates to pick your subscription. That's Patreon.com and the Devil's Advocates, the greatest radio show ever.
Whiz Cannabis Radio is brought to you by Herbal Aspect, Madison's #1 CBD brand. You can catch the show live on our social channels. Just search for Whiz Cannabis Radio. Herbal Aspect is a local, black-owned small business. For more information, go to herbalaspect.com.
Hey, Dom, how many palindromes can you name in 30 seconds?
Race car, mom, dad, reefer, kayak, level. Did I say mom already?
You're forgetting one really important one.
Zero res.
Not only is it the coolest palindrome ever, it's also our favorite.
Right, I remember. Why is that again?
They advertise with us.
Zero res, my favorite palindrome.
And carpet cleaner.
Get
the best carpet cleaning ever. Schedule your carpet cleaning online at zeroresmedicine.com. Tell them the Devil's Advocate sent you.
All right, what does your church tell you about when people say that they're the second coming of God? My reason tells me the man is certifiable. I want your opinion, Gary.
I would say anybody who comes back and says that, I would say he would be the Antichrist.
I am the chosen one.
So Trump is the Antichrist, then, Gary, by that
no,
logic?
I'm not saying he is, but I'm
But
saying
he said he's the chosen one.
I am the chosen one.
Gary, by your biblical logic, Donald Trump is the Antichrist. Listen to the Devil's Advocates live weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. Talk radio made for the 99%. Only on 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, Wisconsin's home for Devil Radio.
The Devil's Advocates, because it's always 420 somewhere.
We are back from the 420 break. Thank you so much for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Phone lines are open, but they're stacked. We're going to get to them right now at 844-967-2789.
Dominic, real quick, did you take note of the fact legalizing cannabis was on the ballot in 4 different states? New Jersey, recreational marijuana legalized. Arizona, recreational marijuana legalized and carried for Joe Biden and for Mark Kelly. Mississippi legalized medical cannabis, as did South Dakota.
The progressives in Mississippi legalized weed, and here in Wisconsin, you still can't get any.
34th and 35th state in the union to legalize medical cannabis.
The
like
real
83% of
Rudy,
what's
drugs. Headlines from over at Drudge, and we'll get back to the phones. Oregon becomes first state to decriminalize cocaine, heroin, meth, and ecstasy. DC,
I don't need it all hard like that, man. Just give me my
DC
recreational
approves
adult
magic
use.
mushrooms and psychedelic.
Where?
Of course, New Jersey goes recreational pot, as mentioned. So does Arizona. But it's a sea change.
Where
man.
can we shroom? Can we shroom at Joe Biden's inauguration? Theoretically speaking.
Perhaps I haven't dug into it, but yeah, DC has approved magic mushrooms and psychedelics, and of course, Oregon, it's all decriminalized as well. And that's how it should be. Any issues with drugs are health issues; they are not criminal issues. Let's move this country forward, shall we?
844-967-2789. Moving this conversation back to the phones and Pizza Box Mike. Welcome back, Michael. How you feeling?
Hey, Mike.
My favorite state is Arizona, baby. Arizona, making the Trump tards cry again. Hey, we could do a fundraiser. We can drive up into through Trump country in my little Prius, right? And you guys could be in the back seat with the windows down, hanging out with the flags that say "Making the Trump tards cry again," and going, "Woo!"
How's that going to pay us exactly? Are we hoping they throw change at us?
We'll work for weed.
You get a big life insurance policy, both of you, and then your wives can do the show after they find your bones. I'll make it out of there, though. I'll jump out of the car and run, man.
You're presuming you're faster than both Crudy and Dom?
All right, hey, Pizza Box, come on, man. We talked last evening. You know, we were feeling
You were despondent.
And I said when we were talking and afterwards during the night, you know, folks, remember this feeling right now where we're like, oh, damn, what if this doesn't go, you know, Biden's way? What if we got another 4 years? Remember, think about this as motivation for us in the future. Mike, how you feeling right now?
Well, see, I told you last night that the hard part was watching those early returns when you're ahead and then watching it chip away. And then knowing that it's the inverse the other way, where the other both get thrown at first, and now you got to chip away at them and hope you come back. But, you know, shortly after I called you, you know, I was just sitting around watching it. I didn't get, you know, I mean, I kind of expected it, to be honest. You know, they said they were going to steal it if they could. So you got to kind of like expect them to do everything they can to get it.
Did you stay up late enough to see Trump declare victory?
No, I didn't watch that because at about, I don't know, maybe like 11:15 or 11:30, I was watching it and I'm like, you know what? I mean, we might not even need Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. When they count those votes, they're gonna pass them. I already figured that. And I'm like, it's Arizona, baby. They got to hold on.
Well, Arizona
vote to be added in Nevada.
Arizona's in the column. Joe's at 264 plus Nevada. That's 270. President-elect Joe Biden. He's already there, Michael.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you, it wasn't white people that, you know, let's stop not, you know, talking about, you know, how many people of color didn't come out and vote. You know, we know that a lot of them, you know, were swayed into, you know, doing other things, okay, either staying home, whatever. But they're the ones that made this happen. Let's be honest. The reason why it was so hard to get Trump was because of all the damn white people, all right? And we've already discussed that 50% of the people in the population have a lower IQ than the average person, and that's where this is coming from, guys. We got to fight back.
Appreciate your call, Pizza Box. Milwaukee turned out sufficiently, but the river, the Mississippi River counties, they really didn't swing. Thank God. I mean, Ron Kind held on by the skin of his teeth, and the Democrats held on to a veto-proof Republican majority in the state Senate by the Brad Poff seat in La Crosse, replacing Jennifer Schilling in the Senate. But that was too damn close for comfort.
It's still close, man.
The river is still running red on the western part of the state. They could use some progressive talk radio
They
over there.
certainly could. You know, maybe in the La Crosse area, our own alma mater, Crudy. How can they not be playing out the devil's advocates? We got to make some phone calls. You got to make some phone calls.
What, they're going to play us on Whitey Talk Radio up there?
967-2789, anywhere, anyhow. Russ from Madison, you are next. Welcome, sir. What do you got for us?
Hey, Russ.
Hey, as far as today, I think I'm somewhere between 2016 and 2018. Not as bad as when Trump won and I turned on the mic to hear Christmas music. I mean, who gives a Melania about Christmas music? And not as good as 2018 when Scott Walker lost just outside of the recount margin, and then got to go and enjoy the noon sing along at the Capitol afterwards. It was quite the party.
I think I missed the sing along, but we didn't miss any of the rounds of drinks late that night. Neil Albrecht, a hero to all Democrats, all progressives, bringing home the absentee ballots in Milwaukee County. I bet it was Neil delivering in Milwaukee for Joe Biden last night as well, Russ. Thank you, Russ. Appreciate your call. When someone asks you, how you feeling? Tell them good as hell.
I'm feeling great, baby. I haven't felt this good in a long time. I'm a little tired. I'm a little sore. You know, I've been working out. I work out. I don't know if you know this, but I work out a little bit. I'm a little sore, a little tired, been hanging out with you. Thank you for putting me up overnight, Crudy. Thank you for the bottle of tequila and for losing rock, paper, scissors for breakfast this morning. But it is a glorious victory. It is worth all the pain, all the effort. But It never stops. It never, ever stops.
Well, you are a pain, and being your friend takes a lot of effort.
Tell me about it.
Come back with us. More of your phone calls. Want to hear from you, our fair audience. Always welcome here at 844-967-2789. That call free to you.
Baby, how you feeling?
From Baraboo to Horicon, WTTN 1580 AM is News Talk Radio built for the 99%. Rural Wisconsin's home for Devil Radio.
Do you know the Devil's Advocate started as a podcast? Just two buddies talking into an iPad because we thought we had something to say. Do you have something to say? Let Devil Radio guide you. Launch your own broadcast quality podcast. Utilize our studios and staff, our hosting platform, and we will even promote your podcast on Devil Radio. Monthly packages start at just $295. Devil Radio's podcast platform to launch immediately after the election. Call today to learn more. 608-819-TALK.
This is Tony with Quality CBD. We are located on Willie Street across from the co-op. At Quality CBD, we are vertically integrated. From soil to oil and seed to sale, we grow, extract, manufacture, and distribute quality CBD oil. We also have contact-free delivery options at qualitycbd.org. Quality CBD. Legal, local, legit.
Still a toss-up. I'm Jackie Quinn with an AP News Minute. Democrat Joe Biden says he's not ready to declare victory as the vote counting continues, but
when the count is finished, we believe we will be the winners.
Biden has won Wisconsin, but it's too early to call Michigan and Pennsylvania. That's where President Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, says they're suing because the GOP wasn't allowed to closely monitor the counting of absentee ballots.
Never able to see if it was properly postmarked, properly addressed, properly signed.
Republican Senator Susan Collins of Maine fought off a stiff challenge, winning re-election and helping the GOP keep control of the Senate. In the UK, shoppers were out in droves making last-minute purchases before retailers, pubs, and restaurants close for a month because of a spike in COVID-19 cases. Stocks surged today, the S&P 500 up more than 2%. I'm Jackie Quinn.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So what do you provide? Cookie cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
For Devil Radio, 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, I'm Luke Mathers with your headlines for Wednesday, November 4th. Totals from Milwaukee, Kenosha, and Green Bay push Biden to a 20,000 vote lead in Wisconsin. Wisconsin once again went down to the wire in the 2020 election, with Democrat Joe Biden holding a lead around 20,000 votes with almost all of the unofficial returns in. That is very close to Trump's winning margin in 2016. Biden overtook Trump in the early morning hours when the city of Milwaukee finally reported its roughly 170,000 absentee votes, which were overwhelmingly Democratic. Then, late returns from Green Bay and the city of Kenosha added to his slender lead. The national election is too close to call, coming down to key swing states including Wisconsin. You're listening to Devil Radio, 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
Bring it. Oh, it's already been brought. Tom and Krutz on the Devil's Advocates.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates, the 4 o'clock Dump Trump Happy Hour. It continues, and I'm still feeling quite happy despite the lack of sleep, the hangover, and the close electoral outcome. I predicted a blue wave. I'm still saying we got a blue wave. We just got to count all the votes. 21 million votes still to count, and I suspect 98% of them for Joe Biden. Early absentee
I think you're
ballots.
right. I think you're right. I think Trump has, in fact, been dumped.
Well, here's the good news. We could never talk about the coronavirus pandemic again.
Oh, that's
You know, that
right. Because
whole
today,
gimmick.
yeah, today's the 4th. And Donald Trump said, wait until the day after the election. You'll never hear about coronavirus again.
So today in Wisconsin, Don, we got 0 cases, 0 positive, 0 hospitalizations, and 0 deaths, right?
Unfortunately, not. I know we have a Journal Sentinel article, but I did go to the raw data at the Wisconsin Department of Health. And here's what I have. A new record. We are number 1. Way to go, Wisconsin. New infections, 5,935 out of 16,228 tests. It has an infection rate of 36+%.
Did I hear you correctly? Almost 6,000 positive COVID cases, a new record?
That's absolutely correct. Congratulations. So much winning.
What excellent news for the state of Wisconsin.
No, it gets better. 54 deaths reported from COVID in the state of Wisconsin, and another 243 people hospitalized because of COVID-19 in one day in the state of Wisconsin.
Perhaps that's why it was so disappointing to see people like Robin Voss and Alberta Darling win re-election. I mean, we've got to recast the maps in the state of Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
And I think our pal Maggie Dawn said something to the effect. The Trump presidency, so divisive for our nation. Well, Scott Walker started long before Donald Trump. This state has been 50+1 since Scotty Wanker ran for governor. And I can tell you, I think we the people of Wisconsin have suffered far more than the American citizenry, because before there was a Donald Trump, there was a Wanker.
We are the bellwether for the rest of the country in so many ways, usually the bad ways.
The bad governance petri dish.
Absolutely. Look to Wisconsin to see what comes next in those regards. DHS Secretary Andrea Palm in Milwaukee said, quote, "We should not be having contact with other human beings that we do not live with. Hard stop." Again, 5,935 new cases, 54 deaths. Total death toll in the state of Wisconsin, 2,156. The average number of new daily cases over the last 7 days also reached a new high. Congratulations, Wisconsin, at 4,839. It's an increase of 531% in the last 8 weeks. Let me repeat that. An increase of 531% in the last 8 weeks.
And that's before the infections of the Donald Trump rallying all across the state of Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
At least
Wait another
5.
Yeah, we will
super
peak out
spreader events.
even higher than that. It's not good. And unfortunately, it's also not political. We will continue to have higher infections, more deaths, more hospitalizations, regardless of who is the president, if we don't have a national plan to deal with this.
Well, Joe Biden will be your next president, but winter is coming. 844-967-2789. Let's go back to the phones. Dan from Madison. Welcome, Dan. What do you got for us?
Hey, Dan.
Hey, guys. I got 3 things for you. 1, I love the show. 2, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is.
Even better.
I'm going to set up a recurring payment for you.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you.
3, what I'm hoping to get out of it is you guys talk about ranked choice voting.
Oh.
I don't know if I'll get number 3 though.
I'm all about
Maybe
ranked
not
choice
today.
voting.
I would give you a hug, but Andrea Palm says I should not. Hard stop. Dan, appreciate you calling. Ranked choice voting. We'll certainly get to that topic. Maybe not this afternoon, but we'll definitely make a point of trying to get to that topic. Post-election, I suspect there are a few more topics we can get to as long as Donald Trump is not burning down our nation. 844-96. He may still burn down the nation.
Well, right. He's still got the new codes. He still has an unscalable wall erected around the White House. And he is still the president.
And let's not forget, recount Wisconsin, or at least that's the threat.
I don't believe it's going to happen.
844-967-2789. Dick from Madison. Slutty Dick, welcome back. Jeez, hey, Dick.
Hey guys, how about that? How about the coattails of Mark Kelly out there in Arizona? Usually the top of the ticket.
Well, he carried marijuana across the finish line.
Yeah, man, you gotta love the weed vote. Is
and Joe Biden.
People out.
But can I just say something else to Tom of LA? Can I add something to him? And I love his call every day. We the people want one person, one vote going forward. So old people like me don't have to wait for 48, 72 hours to know. He's going to win by 3 million votes again. Enough of this stupid electoral college, okay? And
Joe Biden's going to win by 10 million votes. And, you know, in this case, he's also going to thread the needle of the electoral college. I think he's already there, Dick. I think Joe Biden's at 270.
Yeah, go ahead, Dick.
One more
thing. You guys need a lobbyist because clearly the Democratic Party is spending way too much money on polling. Why not funnel it to stations like yours and really get some bang for your buck?
Well, we're the only station like ours, Dick, so they can funnel it all to us.
Yeah, and I
we'll
would
take
love
all that
but,
sweet, sweet polling money.
You know, seriously, the polling, again, like I said last night, way past my bedtime, you know, at best, they're like bad meteorologists.
So we just, but Dick, here's what I would say.
Bob Lindmeier resembles that remark.
The polling from Marquette University Law Schooling, Charles Franklin. I think he had Biden up by 5, and I'm pretty sure, and I don't know, but correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
The margin of error was 3 to 4%, right? So technically, if Joe Biden wins by 1%, that's not too far off from what we've seen. My question would be is whether or not we're actually identifying, or the pollsters are identifying those that, number one, lie to the pollsters. We know some of those folks, Crudy, they will specifically take those calls to lie to them to try to mess it up because, you know, that's what they like to do. So if it was Biden by 5 with a margin error of 4 and ultimately he wins by 1, well, on the top end of that polling, it was pretty much accurate.
Well, the other 4 were dead wrong.
Dick, you know,
17 pretty off.
Our hips will never lie to you, Dick.
Thanks for the call, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Slutty Dick. Have a great day, sir.
You sure have a way with the callers, Michael.
Well, that's how I show them I love them.
Pulling their pigtails, calling them names.
Something like that. You know, I got a big crush on our audience. 844-967-2789. Timbo from Madison. Welcome, Timbo.
Hey, Timbo.
Hey guys, you know, I'm so glad I woke up this morning, turned on the radio, and did not hear Christmas music. That just crushed me 4 years ago.
You and I both, brother. You and I both.
I'm so glad you guys are on the air. I just recently started listening to you again. I figure I got to spend a lot of time in my car. Why not put on some decent radio programming? So. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much. And I will definitely donate to the cause.
Thanks, brother.
Right on.
Appreciate it, Timbo. And may I recommend you move farther away from work so you got a longer commute.
So you can listen longer.
And more drive time.
But there's so many ways to listen, right? You can go to the podcast, you can go to iTunes, you can go to Google, Stitcher, you can go to all this Facebook and YouTube, and you can go to Twitter. I mean, there's so many ways. Spotify, the Devil's Advocates, we are all over the place. There is absolutely no excuse, zero, none, zilch. If you can't get us on the radio, on the broadcast, you can find us every single other way.
And Dominic, we made a profane podcast earlier today. Special delivery for our Patreon sponsors. We'll send it out to our current sponsors on Patreon, a new effort. Also, if you'd like to help a brother out, consider going to the GoFundMe page. Keep Real Resistance Radio in Wisconsin. All the donations help. They're all going to get spent making the greatest radio ever. You know, the pandemic's not over yet. The election And the political ad spends, unfortunately, they are. 844-967-2789. More friends. Wisco Paul, welcome back. What do you got for us?
Hey, Paul, happy days, man.
A celebratory spotted cow today, Paul?
I had too many last night. Thanks for taking my call, by the way.
You and I both, we almost blocked your call, Paul, but we like you, man, so welcome back.
I don't even remember everything I said last night, but anyway, I slept well. But I'm pretty happy, although on most of these places haven't called Arizona or Nevada yet, but they did call Michigan. So as soon as they call them two states, then I'll get some spotted cow there. But I'm surprised in this state, as bad as the coronavirus is, that more Republicans didn't lose. But you got to take with the good with the bad. Hey, I have one quick question. I kind of missed Maggie there. The Republicans didn't get the super majority, did they, Crudy and Dunn?
Not in the state. They are one Senate seat short. But I would point out, Paul, there's going to be another election, a special election in the Senate 13th. And the 13th Senate district, pardon me, I still got the hiccups, man. Oh. I drank a few too many last night as well, Paul. But the 13th is not as red as the 5th CD.
So it's not as red as my 6th either then. So they got a chance there. Well, this means that Tony will get to draw, or he'll get to veto the lines, and then it'll go to court, correct?
Yes, that's my assumption.
And then there will be an appeal. And we'll get to pay for all of it, Paul.
Oh, God. So if it's hard for me to believe everything from FoxCONn to the pandemic. It's proof that things are so gerrymandered that's almost an impossible situation for anybody to run against these guys. It's sad. But I'm going to take the good, and I'm going to turn TV on here shortly, and right after your show, in fact. And when them two states turn blue, I'm going to open up some more spotted cow. Thank you guys for what you do.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate it, man.
It's a blue tsunami, Paul. It just took a little longer to crash up on the shore than I thought.
It's easy for you to say. Ken Bob from Mount Horeb, 844-967-2789. It is a political party. It is a victory over the man party. You know what we're talking about. Ken Bob, welcome. How you feeling today?
Got about 4.5 hours sleep after I called you guys last night. But I was pretty happy. I'm also really happy that my observations of the absentee ballots here in Mount Horeb apparently played across the state.
Yeah, right on, man. You were on.
Country. Yeah, I was doing the sorting table, so I was sorting out the stuff because we had so I saw everything that was coming by, just glancing at it, and I'm just like, holy mackerel! In person is like monster Trump, absentee total Biden. It was just really shocking, but in a good way because we had twice as many absentees as in person.
Well done, Ken Bob.
Yep. Yeah, I got to pick up a whole bunch of big signs now, so I'll be running the trailer around and doing that. But congratulations, you guys. You helped us out, and every single little bit was needed. So, hooray!
Right on, man. We do what we can.
Man. I'm gonna go home. I'm just gonna go I'm gonna go crack one now too.
Right on. Happy hour, Ken Bob. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for calling this show, letting us know yesterday. I mean, he was saying about like almost 90% of those absentee ballots were coming down for Biden. As we know, lots of people very concerned, very upset with this president. They let their feelings be known early, and we've seen that in Pennsylvania. We've seen it in Detroit. A lot of these last bit of votes are coming in heavy for Biden. It is our last segment. It is a celebratory day. Joe Biden has won the great state of Wisconsin. Welcome back. You're welcome. 844-967-2789. A few more of your calls. And then the Earl Ingram Show. Make sure you stick around. More on Double Radio.
Hello, Wisconsin!
Stream the Devils and progressive news and talk 24/7 at the Devil's Advocates Radio Network, Wisconsin. That's DARNWI.com. That's DARNWI.com.
Hi, this is Dom from the Devil's Advocates inviting you to join us on Patreon.com. Patreon allows for our audience to access exclusive programming not available anywhere else and gives you the ability to directly support the greatest radio show ever. History's patrons have supported the works of Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Monet, and now with your support, the Devil's Advocates. So please go to Patreon.com and search the Devil's Advocates to pick your subscription. That's Patreon.com and the Devil's Advocates, the greatest radio show ever.
Whiz Cannabis Radio is brought to you by Herbal Aspect, Madison's #1 CBD brand. You can catch the show live on our social channels. Just search for Whiz Cannabis Radio. Herbal Aspect is a local, black-owned small business. For more information, go to herbalaspect.com.
Hey, Dom, is your carpeting starting to have a little bit of a funk to it?
That's a bit of a personal question, Crudy.
No, I know this is really busy time for one of our sponsors, Zero Res of Madison. People want a cleaner, healthier home.
You mean spending the entire quarantine locked in with bacteria and allergens isn't healthy? Who knew?
You want to get it professionally cleaned well before it gets funky. Even if you vacuum frequently,
I vacuum a lot.
You still need to get it professionally cleaned. Schedule your carpet cleaning online at ZeroResMadison.com. Tell them the Devil's Advocate sent you.
Listen to the Devil's Advocates live weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m.
You guys are getting it done.
You boys are the light of my day, and I've been listening to you for many years.
I love you guys. You're the greatest thing that has happened to Wisconsin radio.
If it wasn't for your radio program and getting out the vote, who knows?
I got to give you guys so many props. I'm pretty sure your guys' radio station had a direct impact on that.
You're welcome, everybody, and thank you. You're listening to Devil Radio 92.7 and WTTN 1580 AM. That's pretty cool.
The Devil's Advocates, the fix for political junkies everywhere.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Last segment of the day. If you got something to say, join us. 844-967-2789.
I'll try to keep it brief. I still have the hiccups.
Yeah.
A little hangover from last night, Don. But REM salutes Wisconsin presidential election by sharing songs from a 1982 Madison show. REM tweeting out at the great state of Wisconsin, a nod to Wisconsin from the mists of time. They played a show in 1982.
Awesome.
And apparently they consider REM to be a left-leaning band. Who would have known that?
Weird. I had no idea. What's the frequency, Kenneth? It's 92.7 is Devil Radio. We are the Devil's Advocates. Again, 844-967-2789. We are celebrating the victory over the man. Trump got dumped. It's happening, folks. I know it's hard to digest. Lots of work to do still going forward. The man is still the president. He still has the nuclear codes. I'm still a little concerned. He still has supporters, but got to take one step at a time. And it looks like Uncle Joe, he's going to do it. Big Mac, you are up.
I'm a little nervous about a Big Mac with heartburn, but let's take the call.
I have no doubt you still eat it, Crudy. Hey, Big Mac, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Well, the Big Mac has a little tiny beef with you guys. First of all,
where's the beef?
I've never been so depressed at the same time because Trump's up to shenanigans. My request is, you guys do a great job, but if you watch other people do a show like yours, you monitor the breaking news. I don't want to have to wait to hear the breaking news. The breaking news is you got Giuliani standing at a podium after being introduced by Eric Trump, who went on a tirade about all this fraud they saw, and observers were not far close enough. I know you probably see it because you're on the internet there. Well, why don't you guys chime in on stuff that's breaking? You've done it sometimes. That's my critique. Otherwise, excellent show.
More Rudy news. Big Mac wants.
I don't have the Russia Today app on my phone, man. Sorry. I mean, we can.
Yeah, but
we'll
you'll
try.
be talking about it. Watch, because this is the new story. Forget about counting. It's all about the lawsuits, man. That's what it's going to be.
Well, wait, but Big Mac, what about the laptop from hell? I mean, are we going to hear about that anymore?
Yeah, but this is real deal, man. This lawsuit's going to try to go through. Maybe it won't go through, but I mean, I would be covering this kind of thing right away because it's huge news. I don't want to wait till the next day. That's my suggestion. Monitor, and then when I'm also commenting on your live feed, nobody's giving me feedback I'm sitting there in the comments going, "Hey, what about this?" And I know it's asking a lot for you to multitask, maybe.
Oh man, Big Mac, busting my balls here, man. Did my wife tell you to call? 844-967-2789. A friend from California. It's Carol. Carol, welcome. What do you got for us?
Hey, Carol.
Hi, yeah, Nurse Carol here.
Hey, Nurse
just
Carol.
wanted to let you know I did not listen to your show yesterday because I was calling Wisconsin voters to get out the vote for 4 hours.
Excellent.
So,
Thank you for doing that. That's very important. We appreciate it.
If you were calling them,
you're welcome. And
if you called voters in Madison, Dane County, you did an exceptional job. We carried the entire state.
Well done.
yeah, a lot of big fans out here, just to let you know.
Well, Carol, you listening on KGOE in Eureka?
Yep.
We love them. We love you back. We appreciate it. You guys have been like one of our longest ports of call. We appreciate KGOE.
Oh, great. Awesome.
And we envy the fine marijuana they grow there in the Emerald Triangle.
Oh, don't worry, Crudy. I mean, hell, we're in Wisconsin. We're right of Mississippi right now. How embarrassing is that?
Yeah, but you could chew a CBD gummy. That'll get over what ails you. I mean, I like the CBD, but yeah, legalize marijuana for adult use.
I mean,
what about my right to try, Ron Johnson?
Right. Drugs won nationwide once again. Crudy, you can always make a trip to Illinois. You can always make a trip to Detroit. Go to Motown, Michigan as well. I mean, we are surrounded by legal marijuana in some way, shape, or form, but we continue to be righter, more conservative than Mississippi. But we went blue for Biden?
Real quick, Donald Trump tweeting, Dom.
Oh, he is?
About 3:56 p.m. We have claimed for the electoral vote purposes the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. He's claiming it. I don't think that's how it works.
What is he, Yertle the Turtle?
Which won't allow legal observers, the state of Georgia, the state of North Carolina, each one of which has a big Trump lead. Not really. And additionally, we hereby claim the state of Michigan. And then he continues, if in fact, and then he got blocked. Oh, if in fact there was a large number of secretly dumped ballots, as has been widely reported.
Oh, yeah.
You know, on the street, there people are talking about it.
Well, they're bussing them in from Chicago, don't you know? Big yellow buses.
Now, Michigan's already in the Joe Biden column. They've already called that state for Joe Biden.
No, but he has claimed it.
I claimed it. I claim all the new land for Trump.
I am king of all that I see.
Does he put a name on it like his gaudy, grotesque buildings? Just slap a name on the side. Branding. You know, when he says he's claiming Michigan, he just wants to put Trump on the side.
You know, we're not going to be able to get to the Bernie Sanders sound, unfortunately, because it was genius, and he was right on the money, talking about his concerns back in October 23rd about what Trump would do, how he would react. But we got to just play just a little bit of the Trump craziness from 2:30 in the morning Eastern time. I know it's the end, but let's get it out there. Because we're not going to have to hear it too much more. Let's jump around to cup number 32, if you would please, Luke.
This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country.
Yes, you are.
Going to the SCOTUS, 33.
This is a major fraud in our nation. We want the law to be used in a proper manner.
To help me
we'll
win.
be going to the U.S. Supreme Court. We want all voting to stop.
We want all voting to stop. No more voting, Pennsylvania. No more voting anywhere, although that's what your laws require. We will win.
The voting has already stopped well before he said that.
Yeah,
what he really meant is he doesn't want them to tabulate the votes that are going to show Donald Trump lost to Joe Biden.
He didn't lose. He will win. Cut 35, please, Luke.
We will win this. And as far as I'm concerned, we already have won it.
And 36.
We will. This is a fraud on the American public. This is an embarrassment to our country. We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
We were getting ready to win, and then they counted all the votes, and then we lost. Oh, he will never say that.
Dominic, want to thank our fine guest, Maggie Dawn of the Resistance. Want to, say you're welcome, Joe Biden, on behalf of my neighbors and friends here in Dane County and Madison. Help carry your ass across the finish line. Want to thank Dominic for staying up late. Luke, you've been a godsend this week. Thanks, brother. Thank you all, especially the supportive ones that help us out by going to the GoFundMe page and giving a couple bucks. You don't have to give it to Bernie or Biden anymore. Give it to Devil Radio 92.7. Thanks for listening. Earl Ingram is next. Are you a small business owner or professional that would like to be featured in your own weekly Ask the Expert radio segment or show on Devil Radio? Let us help you in your business. Team with our broadcast professionals